earlier, maybe same supplements and diet, nutrition and workout, it's just not seeing the results you used to. That could be related to low testosterone, but also Heartland Men's Health is helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more, all designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. And with low T treatments combined with the body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. Simply schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. They will do your lab work with you, have your results within 30 minutes, and then a licensed medical provider will review the results with you, discuss your options, help you make the decision together with that medical team. Now, the cost of the appointment, it's $99, but that includes medical consult, that testosterone, and we've talked about it a lot, continue to emphasize that PSA test. If you don't know what your PSA level is, well, you can knock out a number of birds with one stone here at Heartland Men's Health. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, your visit, it's free. You don't pay a dime. You could be back to having some of those same energy levels and sleeping better and no more brain fog, production around the house, at work, all of those things. Heartland Men's Health successfully treating men in the Kansas City area with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. That's 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll talk with Matt Lane coming up at 11 o'clock, and we will talk with Field Yates, our NFL insider from ESPN, joining us at noon, sports or leisure today as well. This Royals team has somehow played to 6 games under 500 and only 3 games out. They have been able to survive and still being in it in the standings while playing some really bad baseball. There is only one team in the American League Central that has a positive run differential, and that's the Tigers, who are a game under 500. They've been unlucky because their positive run differential would say that they are at least 500, or maybe they should be 16 and 15 themselves. But they're not. They're 15 and 16. The Guardians lead the division at 500. They are the only team, this is the only division, where the division leader is not above 500. Even the A's, who lead the West, are 2 games over 500. They have survived this. They, as in the Royals, have survived a 12 and 18 start by only being 3 games out. I mean, they could be in the NL Central and the Reds are 19 and 11. And that would be pretty rough because the Royals at that point would be, 6.5 games out?
Every team's above 500 in the NL Central.
It's crazy.
All 5.
It's crazy. We talked about like the NL Central and AL Central. Like NL Central, one of the worst divisions that is now like maybe the best in terms of how balanced that is.
It was 2 years ago when the Royals made the playoffs, and it was Tigers, Guardians, and Royals. You're like, the AL Central's horrible. 3?
3 teams made the playoffs. How horrible are they? Everybody's beating up on the White Sox. Okay, sure. But these next 10 games for the Royals, I'm going to talk about what it can mean for the rest of the season. So they've got this game left today against the A's. They travel to play 3 against the Seattle Mariners. I should say 11 games. They travel to play 3 against the Mariners because I want to include today. So 3 against the Mariners. The game today, there's 4. 4 against the Guardians at home, followed by 3 against the Tigers at home. There's 7. So from today until Mother's Day on May 10th, the fact that they have survived to this point only 3 games out, they will be playing 7 games next week at home against teams you are trailing in the division that are the teams that would be expected to compete for first place, win the division with you. If you struggle in Seattle and come home and have a couple of rough series against Cleveland and Detroit, you're all but out of it. Because those are home games too.
Yeah.
Because now to even out playing those teams, you got to go on the road. You still got to play road. You've played road games. Now you're getting the return home. So you played great baseball at home. You're playing better baseball at home than you are on the road. So this is the time to maximize how you're playing at home. But that to me is what today's game almost means is, can you maximize at least being 3-3 returning home, getting ready for 7 games against teams that you'll be chasing all year, that somehow you've survived this, but a rough 11 days, I don't think you can survive.
Well, because I think all 4 of these teams, you're going to have some sort of, you'd like, because they're probably all around the same playoff hunt. The A's might fall off. They might, but they have good bats, and their pitching's been a little better than we expected. Seattle's probably going to win the AL or the AL West, but if they don't, well, that's a wild card team, and the Royals might be going head to head with your peer, the Mariners.
Right.
Obviously, the Central, we know about Detroit and Cleveland. We think those 3 teams are all the 3 best teams in the AL Central. I think Chicago, again, they've done what I thought. They're better than I expected. Or not better. They're better than I think a lot of folks expected. They're right in line with where I thought. I think Minnesota's the worst team in the AL Central, so that's not a big surprise to me. But you got to go, 6-5, I think, to feel okay. If you go 6-5 against this pretty difficult stretch of
really difficult
of 11 games left.
Tell them, Wash. It's incredibly difficult.
I think if you go, I know people will say, you got to go 7-4 or 8. Chip away. Don't beat up on the Twins later on. Beat up on the bad teams later on. if you can go 6-5 in this 11-game stretch, I think you'll say, okay, could have been worse, could have been better, but we're fine. We leveled the ship. We're okay. We bailed the water out, and we can float.
Yeah, because if you go 3-3, well, over the next 4 games, if you go
2-2, and then 4-3,
and then 4-3, yeah.
That was my thought process.
Absolutely.
You win today, maybe go 1-2 against the Mariners because we're trying to be realistic here. I mean, again, yes, it'd be lovely to go.
Mariners are 8-3 in their last 11 games.
Yes,
they're not the Mariners that started off struggling and getting swept by the Padres and getting swept by the Rangers and losing 2 of 3 to the Angels. Like they started off rough, and now they're 8-3, including 6-1 in the last 7 games.
The Royals are kind of like that too. I mean, what have they done? They're
well, they had won
5
of 6, so now they're 5-2 in the last 7 games.
Yeah, and so they're playing obviously better ball as well. But
yeah.
I think realistically, if you go 6-5 in this 11-game stretch,
I think that's realistic, and I think that is not asking for a whole. You're not asking for the world.
No,
because here's the thing, Sterling. Let's say you go 3-8 in this stretch.
You're about done.
You're then required later on in the season, if you have a big 11-game stretch, of going like 8-3. Where it's like, well, 6-5 doesn't get it done anymore. You're going to need to win 8 or 9 of these games and really make a run. You don't want to put yourself in that position to where everything becomes a playoff game the last couple of months of the season. It's not a playoff game right now, but these things add up.
Yeah.
They add up over the course of the season. We didn't realize how big of a deal 2 years ago an 8-run comeback against the Mariners would be.
Correct.
It put them in the playoffs. A lot of other things, obviously, but that was the tiebreaker over the Mariners. If they lose that game, we're talking about Matt Quatraro being a good manager, but this team has not made the playoffs. It's a lot different if you go, well, Quatraro struggled in that first year when they said it was going to be an evaluation season. So I give him a big-time reprieve on that because I don't know how much he could have done. So it's like, well, look how bad he was in 2023. Look how bad the team was. That's JJ, not Q. That was a JJ season.
Agreed.
24, they make the playoffs. And they had to maneuver around some bad bullpen play. Remember, they started off that season blowing games. Will Smith was the closer, then got pulled from the closer. Then you went with MacArthur and McCarthy's Army, or whatever the heck it was.
Oh yeah,
and then he
was good until he had the walk-in song.
Yeah. Then you end up with Urseg, and so you go that route and using Urseg in different ways. And it's like, well, was he using him right? Well, he got into the playoffs. All right, and then they won a playoff series against the Orioles. And again, I'll keep saying it, they came back 1-1 against the Yankees, returning home in a divisional series. That's as good as you can put yourself in position. They didn't win the next couple of games. That sucks. They were in position to do that. Giancarlo Stanton's home run still hasn't landed yet, that he hit into the night there after Massey's triple that was misplayed by Juan Soto in right field. And then last year you dealt with injuries and you still got yourself above 500. You don't want to be in a position to where you're looking back in August and September and saying, man, if you could just go back to April and a stretch in June and do it all over again. Because you know what that was? 2025.
That was 2025. I think for me, the this is not even a Q thing. I know people, I'm not trying to carry water for the man, but I agree he has his issues. You know my thoughts on the lefty-righty situation, and we don't need to hash that up, but bleep and play Cags.
And you know my opinion on it is I think acknowledging that Cags is having a better season maybe because of how they're handling him. But anyway, go ahead.
So the bullpen, when people say, well, how do you go to that guy? Yeah, at times, pulling Lynch to go to John Schreiber was dumb. We all agree there. But a lot of the blown saves I don't really put on cue. The bullpen sucks.
Yeah, that's JJ. If you're saying the bullpen's struggling and guys that are supposed to be coming through are not coming through, well, then that would be the GM that put those guys in place.
Yeah, I can't blame...
I'm not going to blame Q for going to Urseg in the ninth when I've been saying, hey, just leave Urseg alone in the ninth. As Estevez gets sent down or has an IL stint, the bone bruise or whatever, and then the quote-unquote sickness, maybe to delay the IL stint a little bit longer, leave Urseg alone in the ninth. Okay, well, now he's doing that. Well, what an idiot.
And it's, again, who's he supposed to turn to? Alex Lang with a 7.11?
Yeah.
No. Well, no. Well, then what about Ursig? And then with a 4.3, who's walks the world and gets no strikeouts. Okay, well, what about I don't know, John Schreiber and his 4.5? What about Steven Cruz with his 14?
The only other option would be Daniel Lynch,
who's been really good.
But he's been really good. But has he been really good because he hasn't been thrown in to be the closer in the ninth inning?
It is a different situation, which I think we're seeing with Ursig is he might be more of that 7th, 8th inning.
The fireman guy. That
Kelvin Herrera.
Yeah.
Herrera was great in the 7th and 8th, and then you got him in the 9th, and he was fine.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the same guy.
But you never know until, like Gary Pinkel talked about, quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They're like tea bags. You don't know what you have until you put them in hot water. Well, Louis Varland for the Blue Jays isn't a closer, but then their closer is bad, sort of like Estevez with the Blue Jays, keeps blowing saves. So they say he's moving out of the closer role. We're going to use a, quote, committee. The first guy up in the committee is Louis Varland, goes and takes care of business. Very next night, all right, well, he just got the save. Let's see it again. Takes care of business. He's 4 for 4, and 2 days ago he had an inning, 3 strikeouts, and dominant. Well, if they'd have known he was going to be this guy, I think they probably would have started the season with him. Now it's early. He might blow the next 3 or 4, and it was a great early stretch.
Yeah.
But you don't know that guy's going to come out there and say, bleep you, I'm closing this game. These are the final 3 outs, and just strike out the side. If you knew that, you'd have put him in there. So you don't know how Daniel Lynch is going to respond. Maybe he gets out there and melts down. Maybe they have an idea, the pitching staff, of kind of what's between the ears of Lynch, and he's having a good season, and they don't want to have a meltdown and then affect the 6th and 7th inning of him coming in.
And that's also where you have to worry. I would consider Matt Strom for the 9th at some point and say, all right, Lynch.
He's had experience doing it. He's
not a ton, but a little bit.
He's had closing opportunities for the Phillies and things like that when they've had this guy's not available tonight, so Strom ends up being the closer that night. He's been put in that position.
His 12 strikeouts in 10 innings, so it's the strikeout numbers are solid, not great, but solid. I know he doesn't have high velocity stuff, but that's probably where I would go is Strom in the 9th right now with Ursig and Lynch as your 7, 8, or however you want to figure out. If it's 3 lefties in the 8th, let's go him and Ursig in the 7th, because to me it just feels like Lucas right now does not have his. I don't feel comfortable with Lucas right now.
I don't think he has a full confidence in his stuff either.
He has 10 walks.
Yeah.
And 10 strikeouts and 12 innings.
But the 10 walks is because he doesn't trust his stuff in the zone.
Correct.
He doesn't trust that if I throw a strike here, it's not going to be hammered. It's going to be swing and miss.
He has not been wrong, by the way.
Even it's a foul ball. Like Michael Wacha, they kept fouling stuff off last night, and he pitched well. He left one to Lawrence Butler.
Yeah,
that was smoked as soon as he got a hold of him. Like, well, sometimes those things happen. Wasn't a terrible.
What would you do? I mean, 'cause that's where I would go. I would say figure out 7 and 8. Like again, in a perfect world, right? We're talking perfect world. I
would stay with Ursig right now because he's got it done the last couple times.
Okay.
And so, is he bouncing out of what was a rough stretch where he, gave up the save, got the blown save with 2 outs, and missed on some pitches? Is he working through it and finding a way to get it done, Estevez style, to then getting the confidence back to be like, all right, this is my job. I know I'm good here. I'm going to get it done. I would stay in that role for now. If he blows another one, then I would look elsewhere until hopefully Estevez's stuff is back. And as he works back through rehab assignments, and then maybe he comes back up and he's pitching 95, 96 again, and not low 90s. If he's still pitching low 90s, I don't need Estevez up.
It is interesting. I look at this bullpen, and if Estevez is what he was last year, I don't think it's a bad bullpen.
I agree.
But when you look at it right now, with him not there, the Ursig struggles, Matt Strom semi-struggles, you only have one guy you really trust is Daniel Lynch. Maybe your best righty so far has been Nick Mears.
Yeah, or so far Mason Black.
Mason Black. I probably want to see a little more.
That mother bleeper's not real.
They didn't expect Schreiber to take this big of a step back either.
But he's in his 30s.
He did do this last year to an extent, too. Yeah. Last year he had to stretch.
2024, he was pretty rough at the beginning, too.
Yeah, and I remember, was it Lesky, when every time he'd come out, he started doing the thing where it was the flames, and then all of a sudden he had like 14 straight outings of great.
But he had to keep doing the flames, though.
It was the flames.
Lesky. Get the damn flames out.
This is
Let's go.
Lesky. This is
I
all
blame
on
it
Lesky.
I blame it all on Lesky. Every single guy coming out of the bullpen, he should put the flames.
Yeah. It's the
Here comes gas on the fire.
Gaslit on the fire.
Here
Yep.
comes gas on the fire. Not a guy throwing gas. This is just a guy that's putting gas on the fire. This is not a fireman. This is an arsonist. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling more zone next.
Well, this is going to be hot. The Kentucky Derby on FanDuel. You can bet on all your other favorite sports. It sometimes is hot in the Kentucky Derby. Not when I went. When I went, it was the rainiest Kentucky Derby in the history of the Derby. Fire was not going to happen then, but it was electric. It was so much fun. But you don't even have to go to the Derby to have fun, because right now on FanDuel, all customers can get a Derby bet reset. That means you'll get racing bonus back if your bet does not win. It is just that simple. And speaking of simple, the app is super easy to use, and you don't have to be a horse racing expert to get in on the Derby Day action. I don't know bleep about horses, but I still have fun drinking my mint juleps, dressing up, and sitting on the couch watching while having a little extra something on the line with FanDuel. So, bet the fastest 2 minutes in sports right there on FanDuel. Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks are registered trademarks of Churchill Downs Incorporated.
21 plus in President, Missouri. Verified FD Racing account required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable racing site credit that expires 9 days after receipt. Max refund $10 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at racing.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, wrapping up this hour, we will talk with Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, get his thoughts on the draft for the Kansas City Chiefs, players he liked, best fits, any concerns with any of the players or the value. Was it the right move to move up and get Mansour Delane? Or was it better to have Tyson or Bain with a third and fifth round pick? Or could you have traded back from 9 and picked up an extra third rounder and still got Reuben Bain? So then the conversation would be Bain, 2 more third rounders and a fifth rounder. Maybe. Don't know. That's not how the board fell. At least we don't know that's how the board would have fallen, because that's not reality. A lot of things could be different if they stayed at 9.
Matt Lane of KCSN is brought to you by Dick Ray Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Are you planning to spend money on a new AC or furnace repair this year? Dick Ray can help. Show us a 2025 HVAC repair invoice from any company, and we'll credit that amount towards a new system up to $2,500. Call 913-DICK-RAY or go to dickray.com for details.
Hanging out on this Thursday edition of The Zone. Had to double check and see what day it was. It's Thursday. This week has just flown by. I can't believe it's already Thursday. Can you believe, folks, that tomorrow is May? Can you believe that every day goes by and the next day turns into the next day after
no
that?
longer early.
That's right. We continue hanging out here. Let's bring in Matt Lane to the conversation. KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast on this Thursday. Matt, what's up, brother? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. We made it through the draft weekend. We got new Chiefs players to talk about.
Yeah.
We got a small sprinkling of football coming up here now before we take a little bit of time off. So we gotta squeeze it all in here with this rookie mini camp coming up before we're done for a while.
Yeah, we got rookie mini camp coming up tomorrow. We'll be hearing from some of the rookies at the podium outside of hearing from them last week at the Zoom. They have their dreams come true and they hear their name called. Now they get on a practice field wearing a Chiefs jersey, a football helmet, or any NFL team they're with, seeing that. And now it becomes real because, awesome, man, you got drafted. Now you got to go and earn the job. Now you got to go and keep the job. And you got the job, but now let's see what you do from that point forward. I want to talk bigger picture with you, Matt. And as we look at these 7 draft picks that the Chiefs came away with, do you have a bigger sort of macro view of the 7 selections and what the Chiefs were able to accomplish?
Yeah, it took me through, like, we're reacting live to stuff when it happens, right? And so, yeah, you're getting not necessarily knee-jerk reactions, but you're getting the live in the moment stuff. And I think it took until the conclusion of the second day of the draft, bleeding into the next morning, which happens so early on at 11 there, or I guess 10 in Central Time. Mm-hmm. The draft kicks off, it gets going, and I think I'm looking at this Chiefs roster, I'm like, okay, I get what they're doing, but it feels like they're just kind of holding steady offensively, and I don't know what to make of that. But then we get to the end of the draft, and you start trying to square up everything of what they're doing and how it's working going forward, and I think it's pretty clear. They thought that they needed more, not necessarily more, but they needed talent on their defense immediately, and they needed new talent on the offense probably more in the future. And so they go defense heavy in this draft. They bring in a bunch of new players for Steve Spagnuolo to work with, and it seems very clear they got his guy off the top, right, with Mansour Delane. Mm-hmm. It sounds like Spags was very much infatuated with his tape and really wanted that player on his team, and I'm not saying he doesn't like the rest of the guys they took. It just felt like, hey, we're going to get the guy that our DC wants more than anything else. We're going to add a bunch of other speed players that I'm sure Spags checked off on, but we're going to add a bunch of other speed to this team, and we're going to try starting to rebuild this defense. Now, offensively, what if we wait till next year? What if we see what these new position coaches can do? We give Andy Reid a new running back to play with. He has extra time to tweak this offense a little bit. Let's see what works and doesn't work this year, and then next year we can go start plugging the holes offensively. So I guess just coming out of the draft, it's like a lot of people thought this might be more of a 1 to 2 year, not rebuild, but reset, retooling, however you want to call it, more of a 2-year process than a 1-year process.
The way I described it on Monday, Matt, was, looking at the free agency, obviously with Kenneth Walker and making that move to help out the running back room, and that was clearly something that they needed to address. But also hearing, Travis Kelce say, when asked about, returning for another year, that he had full faith that Patrick Mahomes was going to attack the rehab, and, Andy Reid, adjusting with some things. And then we hear Brett Veach talk about, it's a smart play to take advantage of that middle 3 of your offensive line and run the ball and play more power. My view on Monday was, to me, it feels like the Chiefs looked at this offseason and said, defense needs to be replenished and offense needs to be recalibrated. And then that's how they approached the draft, and they replenished with talent early. And then if you recalibrate with some schemes, some blocking schemes, Kenneth Walker, healthy Xavier Worthy, get Patrick Mahomes back, the offensive line still intact, that can go a long way to making the offense better while needing bodies and talent on the defensive side immediately.
Yeah, and I think like you look at it through that lens, you can definitely get there. Like I have my reservations that they just need to recalibrate offensively. Like I do think that they have leaked talent, specifically speed, and like I know Xavier Worthy is a very fast player, but he doesn't always play up to that speed on the field because of dealing with physicality. But they've leaked speed. They've leaked a dynamic ability on offense for a while. So I do think they need an influx of talent eventually. But when you're looking at it, you feel a lot better about a Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Tyquan Thornton, and Kenneth Walker to make your offense go whatever that offense looks like than what you did looking at what the defense was pre-draft as you were going, coming out of free agency, trying to set up for the year. So the strategy, the way they went made sense in the big picture. Once you got to the end of it, you really start to think about the twist and the dials that Andy Reid might be trying to pull off with leaning into the run game a little more. Maybe they do expect a healthier Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice through all of camp or the early season to have better results. But if not, or whatever doesn't work, whatever doesn't stick, you now set the groundwork for the defense going forward, right? And now you have next offseason to look at the offense through a different lens, and now you recalibrated it. You have a different, I don't want to say different scheme, but you've added a new flavor to your scheme, and now you can go ahead and start infusing new talent into this new direction you want to take the offense. So I do think it makes sense when you look at it holistically. Just in the moment, it was definitely something I was kind of sitting there like, well, it would be sure nice to see some more talent on the offensive side of the ball, specifically in the skill room, because I do think that's an area the Chiefs have been lacking for a while now.
Visiting with Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. What did you think of the trade up for Mansour Delane? Maybe we can talk about it two different ways, Matt. The player specifically, how good he is and what he means to this team, but then you have to add in the value of giving up the third and the fifth rounder, so you used 3 selections for one player. How do you view the player, and how do you view the value of trading up to get him?
So we'll start with the player, Mansour Delane. I mean, excellent corner, very clean tape. He's very technically sound. He has a level of fluidity to him that allows him to match up with all these different types of players. We've seen the ball skills. He's good tackling. He just, the best way I can say this, he checks off every single box you're looking for to say this guy's going to be a good starting cornerback in the NFL. He has the ability to play outside, inside, man, off coverage, press, zone, whatever it is, he can do. And I think that versatility in particular, and then you combine that with like the technical sound nature of his game and the ball skills, I see why he was, why he was weighing on Spag's mind, why they really wanted to bring him in. The fit does seem excellent, but the fit for Delane to the Chiefs is better than any other corner in this draft. I do have him kind of a step down from your Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardners, as even Devin Witherspoon as a prospect, because I don't know if he plays at that same level of just like explosion that those guys do, but he still profiles very well as a solid number 1 corner in the NFL, and I love him from the fit for the Chiefs scheme. But that takes us to the trade up, and that's why I don't want to say hesitation, but that's where I just wonder, would it not have been worth it to sit Pat at 9 to see if Delane, who falls there, because again, I just said, I think he is a step below those top-tier elite corners, was it certain that you had to trade up for him to get that level of player and not just wait till 9? Or if he goes at 9, is it better to have Caleb Downs, that level of safety, and a tight end with your 3rd-round pick that you had to give up, or 2 extra picks? So I go back and forth on the trade. I ultimately land here as we are, almost a week out from when they made the pick. They clearly wanted a top corner. They wanted someone that would come in on day 1 and be this team's best cornerback. And with Jermod McCoy's knee situation, Delane was the only guy that fit that bill, so they weren't willing to risk another team like the Saints taking them before they took him.
Yeah, the one of the ways that I was looking at it, too, is, we talked about that this maybe isn't the best draft, and there aren't as many quote-unquote blue-chip players that are in this draft. And I guess if you're in a position that the Chiefs are in, where you're picking top 10, a lot of reasons why, you're picking top 10. Could be personnel. Injuries were a big part of it. Maybe coaching. Maybe positional coaching. So a lot of things that go into a 6-win season, especially coming off 3 straight Super Bowl appearances. If you're in that position, Matt, and you feel like there are only a few quote-unquote blue-chip players on the board, then is it worth it to give up a couple of draft picks that could get you some nice players, a role player, maybe a starter down the line in a draft that is more devoid of that to make sure you walk away and say, we had a top 10 pick. We never want to be picking up here again. And for us to pick top 6 and get the, third best player on our board that isn't a quarterback and running back, it's worth a third and a fifth to move up and get them to come away with somebody that we have no questions about, that this guy could be, quote, according to Albert Breer, one of the best cornerback prospects in the last decade.
Yeah, I think when you look at it from where the Chiefs were sitting, right, that's where it makes a ton of sense. And so, like I said, we've got a week after it. I don't hate the trade. It's definitely not something I'm upset with. There's nothing wrong with what they did, and I understand the process to getting there in terms of, we want a blue-chip player if they had him graded as that, or even if it was just he's clearly the best player left, and we want to make sure we get him. And I know that they've come out and said, afterwards in the press, they're like, oh, our cornerback room was okay. We didn't have to get somebody. No, they had to get somebody. And if they felt that was such a big need, you really do understand being aggressive in the trade up. And then you go back and look and sure, I would have loved to see them be able to get in on the, the tight end run in particular, especially the guys that can block a little bit in that third round. But you look at a lot of the players that went after 74, I don't know if you're really kicking yourself for ensuring that you get the guy that you thought was the best player left and not getting one of those players in the later part of day 2.
The only question I would have with it, and I mean, there are questions. One of the, I guess, frustrations that I would have is, throwing in the 5th round, quote unquote, sweetener. If that had to get the job done, okay, if that meant, you definitely got the guy you wanted. But it would be nice if you didn't have to throw in the 5th round sweetener, and let's say at pick 148, you end up with Justin Joly from NC State, a tight end. I don't know what you think of him, but if you could have traded up from 9 to 6, given up pick 74, kept 148, and drafted him, I feel a lot better about the draft if it's Delane, Woods, R. Mason Thomas, Emmett Johnson, Kennedy, Justin Joly, and then Nussmeier. Like that makes me feel, or Cyrus Allen and Nussmeier. That makes me feel a little bit better. Would you agree, or Jolie isn't as important of a player, and maybe you're not as high on him as maybe I am in the prospects of him being a specific receiving tight end?
Yeah, I mean, and I think so. I would have really preferred, not to give up the pick. I mean, Jolie, the particular player, and for me, when we're talking about trades, I try not to focus too much on it, just because. I mean, it's fun to see, this was the pick slot or what it could be. Right, the guy I really want. But, I try not to focus too much on the player. It's just having that extra asset. But, it would have been much preferred to not have to give up that extra 5th-round pick, whether you want to take a Jolie there, whether you want to use that to package up. Like the Chiefs talked about, they considered moving back up towards the end of round 3 or in the middle of round 3, but they couldn't quite make it work, and then a run happened. What if having that extra 5th allowed them to make that move, and there was somebody that we would have really loved to see them take in the middle of round 3 that they could no longer have that extra 5th to use to move around? So I think that in coming into this draft, we all thought the draft value for teams trading down might be a little bit lower because it was seen as a poor draft. I think that did kind of start to show, but it wasn't until later on in the draft. It wasn't until you got to day 2, then it seemed like the price started to drop for teams that wanted to move up. It seemed like at those first-round trades, teams were still paying essentially right-on value to move around, and the Chiefs technically, depending on which chart you use, overpaid by a little bit to get up there. So they were not getting any kind of bad draft class discount in the top 10, which is unfortunate. But when I started to see what all the other first-round trades looked like, okay, nobody was really getting bad draft first discount, so maybe that's what you had to do. And it really sounds like the Chiefs thought the Saints were taking Delane, and that was a guy that their defensive coordinator said, hey, this is our guy. Let's try to sneakily meet with him on Zoom. We're not going to let anybody know that's him. Like, it does seem like they were pretty dead set on making it happen, and maybe that's a problem with the process, is being so locked into one player that you're willing to overpay. But it does seem like that's how they entered the draft, and if that's the case, overpay with that 5th-round pick, especially, again, in this draft class. I don't think that you're going to get 2 years down the road and be super mad that you didn't have that one extra day 3 pick from the 2026 draft.
Yeah, and if he ends up being a stud, you're not going to worry about it if he's okay. But also, because we do look at players and we look at maybe fits and needs, and if you say, hey, maybe looking to trade back into that late 3rd round, I wonder if there's, sitting there with, pick number, 109, and they say, we're going to package 109 and 148, and we're going to move up to the end of the third round, and 2 of the last 3 picks of the third round, not counting the comp picks, were Chris Bell out of Louisville and then Eli Raritan, tight end from Notre Dame. You know, maybe that run on receivers, and then there were also 4 tight ends selected in the third round when it's like it's a really deep tight end draft. Then you get into that third round and tight end, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. Like, oh, bleep, these guys aren't going to be here for us. Let's see what it would cost to get back up there. Probably not worth it. Boy, if we had 148, we could have walked away with either a Chris Bell or an Eli Raritan at tight end or wide receiver.
Yeah, and like that's where it really starts to not irk me, but like that's where I really start to be like, okay, did they have to do that, right? Did they have to overpay? Was because I would have liked to have the flexibility to move around a little bit. Maybe they didn't love Chris Bell, maybe they did, and they just were trying to find the right time to take him, but not having that extra pick to move around to get him, or Raritan, or whoever. It doesn't have to be one of those guys, but whoever it was, just having that in the pocket to move around, I think would have been super valuable. So. Not that it makes or breaks anything, but this just goes to say, like, hey, your scouting staff and then your defensive coaching staff that really liked him better have been right. They better be right anyway. It's the top 10 pick. But they better really have been right on this move for Delane, or this now starts to look even more – it starts to look real questionable that you went in with such conviction that you had to have him.
You know, I wasn't planning on asking you this, but it came up here because we're talking about the value. Because I want to get into, like, your favorite pick and if you have concerns about our Mason Thomas usage with Spags and not necessarily playing those guys. But do you have a sort of a level of play for Mansour Delane to match the value of moving up from 9 to 6 to get him? Does he have to be like a multi-time All-Pro? What I have said, and you agree, disagree, maybe, you know, raise or call or fold. What I have said is that I would like next year him to at least be on the stage at the awards for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm not saying he wins it, but I'd like him to be on stage. Now, if he's not on stage, I'd like him to be at the hotel because he can't be on stage because they're getting ready for the Super Bowl. That would be awesome. But I would like him to be a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and then we'll see what happens after that. But at least it shows early on the guy hit the ground running. Is that asking for too much for a guy that you spent 3 draft picks on to move up to number 6 and get? Or, yeah, that's what he needs to be if you're actually going to get the value out of him.
Yeah, so I'm trying to divorce my brain now from this particular draft class because I don't know if there's a ton of super high impact players, at the defensive players right at the top of the draft class. Right? Like you look at the guys that went up the top, David Bailey, Arvell Reese. I could see both those guys having a little bit of a learning curve going to the NFL and maybe not stacking up the stats the way that you defensive linemen that usually win Defensive Rookie of the Year get. It's harder to win awards as a corner, especially because you got to kind of get takeaways, and as a rookie, that's just a hard gamble to make. But I think for me, it's be the Chiefs' clear best cornerback, and like that doesn't seem like it's a super high bar. But Noel Williams played good football last year. Christian Fulton, they do keep talking about, and there was some level of confidence in him. The fact that they let a Watson and a McDuffie go and didn't really sign somebody to come in right away before the draft to play. So be the Chiefs' best corner on day one. You're the starting top guy out there, and just improve as the year goes on. And really, I'm not judging much until year 2 or 3, and I just need you to be – I need you to be a cornerback one. When the Chiefs go up against the Cincinnati Bengals, when Jamar Chase is lined up on you on a third down, I can't have any doubts that you're going to play it well. You won't win it every single time, but I can't be going into that matchup thinking, okay, the Chiefs need to help against Jamar Chase. They have, or A.J. Brown. Let's use the Super Bowl because that's been an issue for Trent McDuffie, who we all loved. But going into a Super Bowl against the Eagles, it was always like, okay, Trent can't really go one-on-one with A.J. Brown all game without getting beat at some point in time. And so I need Delane to be at the level where I don't think that going into any wide receiver matchup, I think to be worth that many picks. Now, I said this is year 2, 3, 4 down the line, but I needed to get there to be worth all those picks.
Does the pick of Kennedy move Connor out of the slot? Or maybe Kennedy and Kohu, Kennedy, Cater, Kohu. I like that. Does that move Shamari Connor out of the slot with that selection, do you think?
I think so, and especially
so.
if we consider like what they did or didn't do in the safety room, like they kind of need. I think right now you're slated to see Connor play as a full-time safety, right? Like they brought in Gilman, but they don't have another guy right now that I think you penciled as a starter. And I know Jaden Hicks had a lot of fanfare after his rookie year. I was one of them, but his sophomore year was a significant step back. And I think you even saw the coaching staff kind of lose trust in him as the year went on. And so it feels like Gilman and Connor are going to be your starting safeties. And if I'm trying to decide between Kohu/Kennedy stepping into the nickel and letting it still just be Gilman and Connor deep, or trying to put Hicks on the field and then move Connor down, I think it's easily you going to the former. You're using one of those actual slot corners on the early down. So I would think so as of right now that the Chiefs do plan on seeing Connor as more of a traditional safety this year rather than a hybrid slot/safety.
Visiting with Matt Lane, KCSN, KC Laboratory Podcast. All right, let's talk about R. Mason Thomas. The two sort of most debated things about the draft, Matt, have been the trade up for Mansour Delane and then pick number 40, R. Mason Thomas. Cassius Howell was there, the local kid. A lot of people would have liked to see that be the pick if you're not going to go like a 3-down traditional, prototypical Spagnuolo defensive end. And then, of course, the local connection outside of Cassius Howell, but being Zion Young, who went to the Ravens. The draft guide that I love because it's so Chiefs specific, you look at R. Mason Thomas and the team fit is low, which makes total sense because this is not a guy that they draft, and it's not a guy that, Spags has typically wanted to play. That whole Uche thing. We heard from Mike Bradway that said, well, the Uche was different because that was the middle of the season, sort of tougher to get acclimated. This is different, and Spags is fully on board here. What do you make of the R. Mason Thomas draft pick, the player, and do you have your doubts that Spagnuolo will actually play a guy that he has typically been reluctant to do?
So I think Spags obviously signs off on this pick, right? They don't do anything without him now. How much of that was him saying yes and being, a table stander for the pick, and how much of that was a colon or the scouting staff saying, no, you can make this work. This player's really good. Trust us. We will never know, right? So you kind of got to go back and forth there. I will say, I know there's a lot of concern that he's going to get Josh Uche, or people are talking about trying to move him off ball. I don't think either of those things are happening. There's a huge difference between pick 40 and a future day 3 pick in the middle of the year to bring a guy in.
True.
And then we also got to consider, R. Mason Thomas was a better prospect than Uche was. So it's not the same like-to-like player. R. Mason Thomas never really played as a true off-ball linebacker, so he's going to be a pass rusher. It's just a matter of how often do they use him, or what does it look like when it's not just pin your ears back and go. Because that's the issue speed rushers get into in Spag's system. It's not that they're small. It's not that they have short arms. It's nothing like that. It's simply, can you contain rush? Can you reactively cage rush and play off of Chris Jones when you're getting too far upfield, or when you can't get into an offensive lineman without them being able to reach you? So you just kind of got to see how he is able to play within their rush plan. That said, I think this and Peter Woods combined together tells you the Chiefs know that they can't continue to build their entire pass rush game plan around Chris Jones. We've kind of gotten to the end of that, and it's unfortunate because everybody ages. But this is no longer Chris Jones do your thing and everybody react to him. I bet you start to get a lot more looks for George Karlaftis to be one-on-one. You have a lot more calls where it's going to be a high-low rush where Thomas is supposed to win high, Karlaftis or one of these D tackles wins low, and you kind of squish the pocket that way. I think you're going to see a lot more stuff out of the Chiefs, like just true four-man pass rush plan that's no longer just, Chris, you have a two-way go. Whoever plays next to him has to react to what he does to keep contain on the play, and then everybody else just drive the pocket back. So from that aspect, I think Thomas adds an element of speed and speed to power that they don't really have. He can get up the arc, but he's not the bendiest guy, so I do think that bodes actually better for him getting on the field because he can create some pocket push. He can knock offensive linemen off balance and not always work around them. So it's just going to be interesting to see how they play it out.
Does he do enough in the run to warrant a three-down defensive end, or maybe down the road he can do that and early on it'll be some form of, maybe Gelati early on to stop the run, and then, it's a passing situation. Now you bring on R. Mason Thomas, and that's how he will slowly be integrated to the defense.
I think it's definitely more DPR, designated pass rushing.
Yeah.
He plays physical first run. I think his hand placement's actually pretty good. He has the want-to, and he can create enough power with his leverage to hold the spot. but 243 pounds in
Yeah.
shorter arms is 243 pounds in shorter arms, right?
Yeah.
There are times that he is just going to get walked out of a play because of his size. And so the way the Chiefs typically played their defensive ends, you really do have to be able to play, not necessarily like two gaps or anything like that, but you have to be able to hold contain and then discard a blocker to go make a play as a defensive end. I think he'll struggle with that. I do think the majority of tight ends, though, he can handle those assignments. So maybe it's not just pass rushing downs. Maybe it's those mixed second downs where it's 2nd and 7, where a team can technically do either one, but you can still get him on there because he's not completely useless versus the run.
Yeah.
He's just not going to be the strongest of guys anchoring.
Okay, what was your favorite draft pick, Matt, in this draft?
It's a tie between Peter Woods and Cyrus Allen. We'll go quick here. Peter Woods, I just think, has all the talent to be an all-pro at some point in time. He has the ability to, if he can put it all together, if he can put in the strength and athleticism he showed in 2025 with the production and kind of just the technical development that he was on path to in 2024, I do think you have the opportunity for him to be a stud. And when you can get a stud defensive tackle at pick 29, that's a no-brainer. So, like, from a talent perspective, it's Peter Woods. But just my favorite guy to watch was Cyrus Allen, the wide receiver out of Cincinnati. I mean, I'm not certain that he doesn't step day one onto the Chiefs team and he's not the best route runner. At the very least, he's the best route runner at just creating separation versus man coverage with his fluidity, understanding of leverage, how to contort his body, use his head and shoulder fakes together. I just really love the style of receiver he is and how easily he gets open versus man and zone coverage. So I think that's a nice kind of twist on what the Chiefs typically go for at the position, which is a lot more pure athlete and a little bit less refinement at the player.
Did you? What did you think of Cyrus Allen before the Chiefs drafted him? Are you surprised that he went in the 5th round and wasn't a guy that went a little bit higher? There's been a number of people that are like, why was he there? He might be the best route runner in the NFL draft. He wasn't invited to the combine, but that shouldn't stop teams from taking him. Like Matt Harmon at Reception Perception said that he was a 3rd rounder and was his, quote, favorite prospect, not best prospect, but favorite prospect just because of a lot of different things surrounding, like you're talking about.
Yeah, I had him as like an early 4th, but it was right there with guys like Jacoby Lane, Antonio Williams, guys that went in the 3rd round that I expected to go there. So, like, I expected people in that bucket to go more 3rd round, and that's where I had Cyrus Allen. So I really like the player. I really like the tape. The only reason I'd say he's a little bit lower, and this is just, this is more of my fault than his, I couldn't find enough Louisiana Tech tape to see him playing outside. It's like he played almost predominantly outside at Louisiana Tech, and then for Cincinnati, he was only in the slot. So I didn't have anything but Senior Bowl to really go off of to see him as an outside wide receiver. But, like, you can see the flashes, and if you go to just the Senior Bowl, he shows a release package and the vertical speed. Like, he's an outside route runner, and that's what he has said that, too, because that's where he played. So I could have probably even bumped him up higher had I been able to come across some of the tape from Louisiana Tech, because that's my biggest question is what does he look like versus press coverage and when guys get physical on the outside. I just haven't been able to see him do it going into the draft.
Love it. Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Matt, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother. We'll catch up in a couple of weeks as, getting closer and closer to, these OTAs and off-field or off-season mini camps and things like that. So thank you for the time, man. As always, great breakdown and great coverage as well there at KCSN.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. And, we got jersey numbers to go look at, so let's go have some
Whoa,
fun.
they got jersey numbers?
Oh, yeah, they're out there.
Oh, heck yeah. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Have a good
Appreciate
one.
it. How about that? Hey, let's look at jersey numbers. Let's see what the jersey numbers these guys are. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling, and we'll see what have they chosen. What have they This is big because the one thing we know about jersey numbers in the NFL for rookies, you never get to change. Once you've chosen one as your rookie year, you never get to change. That's never happened for any of the rookies. Like Bolton has stayed the same, Trent McDuffie stayed the same. All of these rookies, once you pick one, you have to stay with that particular selection.
I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 99, and I think the rookies will be in those numbers.
Between it, or does 1 and 99 count?
I know one of them is 99.
I know. That's what I was going to say. Does 99 count? It has to count. It has to count
I'll say
because
it counts.
it's okay. Very good. More's on next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes. Michael Darcy. Heading up until 2 o'clock. Couple more hours to go. We'll talk with Field Yates coming up at noon. And we'll play some sports or leisure at 1 o'clock. Thank you to Matt Lane joining us to break down the Kansas City Chiefs draft. The numbers have been released, folks. Hollywood Brown no longer on the team to wear number 5, so Mansour Delane decided he's going to go number 5.
It's a good-looking number for him. I can just feel like a lockdown corner wearing number 5, elite.
What was he in college? That was Mansour Delane. Pictures, images. 4. Oh, he's number 4. Okay.
That's Rice.
Yeah. So he'll move to 4 next year. Peter Woods.
Is it safe to say that you could maybe throw a little bit of money at Rashee Rice and they could switch numbers?
I think he could use the money. I think Rashee Rice might be able to use the money. Peter Woods, pick 29. He will be wearing 99. So your traditional defensive tackle number. I'm pretty excited about 99 this year than I was last year with the asking 99, what is it you do here? When it was Jerry Tillery.
Yeah, Tillery is 99. Wasn't he? Yeah.
Hey, number 99, what is it exactly that you'd say you do on this team? Let's see. Okay, so I almost said Emmett Thomas is wearing 34, but that would not be the case. R. Mason Thomas is wearing 34. He's rocking that Nile Davis.
I don't like that one. That's not giving me a lot of.
Yeah, Mike Edwards was.
It's not giving me a lot of confidence. Like I see lockdown corner wearing number 5, confident. D tackle wearing 99, gonna be good against the run at a minimum. I see
Colin Saunders and Peter Woods.
I see an edge rusher wearing
34.
34. I think
it's odd.
No, doesn't work. He's too skinny, too small.
It's odd. He will look smaller. He's already a guy that's, 6'2", 240?
Yeah.
And then you put 34. He will look smaller.
He'll look faster, though.
Yeah, that's true. He's going to be so fast around the edge.
Numbers do matter.
Hey, blitzing linebackers all over the place.
Running back?
Jadon Kennedy is stepping into some shoes at the slot, but deciding he's going to go with Trent McDuffie's number 22.
Yeah, that's bold. I like it.
Emmett Johnson moving into running back, deciding he's taken over Isaiah Pacheco's number 10, which then precludes Tyreek Hill from returning. So that means Tyreek Hill can't be on the Chiefs this year. So you can go ahead and eliminate that. They would not let Emmett Johnson have 10 if they were going to bring back Tyreek Hill. So let's stop with that, okay? That's the only evidence I have to go off of right now.
That's a preponderance of evidence.
That's 100%. Yes, more likely than not. Emmett Johnson, number 10. Keenan Allen at wide receiver is going to be wearing 13. Oh, wait, Cyrus Allen, number 13. You see Allen 13 is Keenan Allen. Looks like Keenan Allen.
Hopefully he plays like him, too.
That'd be great. He's a good route runner, too. Cyrus Allen, number 13, and then Garrett Nussmeier is going to be wearing number 14.
Is that Gardner Minshew last year?
No, that's Matt Ariza.
Oh.
So what's Ariza moving to?
I have to get a new punter jersey. Are you serious?
So did Ariza decide to switch, or did Nussmeier say, no, I wear number 14? But he also wore 18 last year because that's a historical number at LSU for quarterbacks. But, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, Matt Ariza. There you go. There's the numbers. We got numbers, everybody.
Least favorite number is definitely 34 for R. Mason Thomas. It doesn't, it's not pleasing to the eye.
Okay.
Darwin Thompson had a 34 jersey.
Yeah, and so did Niall Davis. That's what I think of.
And Mike Edwards. So, yeah, I don't.
It just it runs the gambit, you know.
Is he going to be a punt returner or kick returner? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be all the above.
Also, I don't love 10 for a running back either.
Yeah.
No.
So,
my favorite one's probably Delane at 5. Delane at 5 looks like that's locked
Woods
down.
at 99.
Woods at 99.
He's going to look bigger. Wearing 99, he's going to look more stout.
He'll look stout. He'll be a good run stuffer.
He won't seem as svelte.
Yeah.
Garrett Nussmeier wore 18 and then 13 before that. So he's going to go with number 14. He's taking over Matt Ariza's number. But taking over Matt Ariza, he's just taking the number.
Is he the punter now?
Look at me.
I'm the punter
I'm
now.
the punter now.
Yeah.
Be an odd thing to brag about. All right. I want to hear, we talked with Matt Lane, and he discussed Cyrus Allen, and he may step onto the field and be the best route runner immediately for the Chiefs at wide receiver. Yesterday in New Heights, Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, they were talking about some of the draft picks, and since he was discussing Cyrus Allen there, and you know my excitement of Cyrus Allen being the route runner and saying we haven't really seen a Chiefs acquisition to come in and simply like this guy is a great route runner. So let's hear what Travis Kelce thinks of the guy who's also a Cincinnati Bearcat. So, you know, take this whole answer from Travis with a grain of salt. But from New Heights, Travis Kelce weighing in on Cyrus Allen.
Cyrus Allen, wide receiver from Cincinnati, who I am jacked up to see. We got another Bearcat in the building. We actually got two Bearcats in the building. One came as well as Jeff Caldwell in the free agency pickup. But Cyrus Allen he's a route runner, man. He's a route runner. When we were talking about, you know, what do I want to see in a guy in the wide receiver room, he has his own twist on a lot of routes, and he has the quickness, he has the decisiveness. He really knows how to use his shoulders and his quickness and rhythm to get DBs in a bind, man.
Listen, he's from Cincinnati, so you know he's going to be tough. You know he's going to be physical. He's going to be a guy that loves football. And he loves drafting Bearcats. I mean, look how many successful Bearcats he's drafted. Not just me and you, Brent Selleck, Trent Cole.
Yeah, Brian Cook.
Oh, Cook. Thank you. Yeah, either way, Andy loves the Bearcats. Cyrus Allen, Cincinnati Bearcat. Tough, physical,
Oh, yeah.
fast. Wow.
I don't know what that was going to be all about, but you got to have the rawr from Jason. But I hear Travis Kelce say, that's what I wanted to see in the wide receiver room, is a guy that just runs routes, manipulate his body, his shoulders, his footwork, you know, steps here, there, his hips. I mean, I think it's interesting that Travis Kelce, because we've talked about, man, go get a guy that can just simply, Jordan Tyson, we talked about him as a route runner and a separator. And go get a guy that you don't have to scheme open. Go get a guy that you don't have to highlight the contested catch rate because he doesn't have to make contested catches because he gets open. And then Travis Kelce saying, well, it's one of the things I wanted to see in the wide receiver room, as in we haven't had that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that added to our wide receiver room. And yes, he's from Cincinnati, but the guy is a route runner and just does all of these little things to be able to get open. That's high praise. I would guess that Travis would have the same praise for him for the specific attributes if he went to SMU or something like that, or UCF. Of, man, this guy is an app. Or if he went to A&M and stayed there instead of transferring to Cincinnati. The Bearcat part of it, yeah, you get that. He's excited about that aspect of it. But I love to hear that when you say, this is what I wanted to see in the wide receiver room, was this attribute for this player, this type of player. I wanted to see that in the wide receiver room. And we got it.
I guess also, what else is he going to say?
Well, but I would say, like, he gives, he's a route runner, he does this, but to say it's what I wanted to see in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Because that tells me, like, he hasn't seen that in the wide receiver room. Of a guy that just understands, because that's Travis Kelce, right?
Yeah.
Understanding the nuances of route running, trying to teach guys the nuances, the shoulders, the footwork, the hips, and saying, I see this guy, and boy, that's what I've wanted to see in the wide receiver room, is a guy that does those things. I mean, he might hit the field in training camp and be the best route runner on the team as soon as he, gets on the field. Doesn't mean he'll be the best player. Doesn't mean he'll be able to then find ways to get open early on against NFL cornerbacks. I don't know what he's going to look like. He may just be an awesome route runner that never actually makes it in the NFL. It's like, oh, well, there's a lot of route runners that are really good that never made it in the NFL because of, 15 other different factors that go along with it. And if he was a brilliant route runner and had all these other things, it was going to be, he gets on the field and he's going to be great, he wouldn't have gone in the 5th round.
Yeah.
So, of course, I could say the same thing about Puka Nacua. That's a 5th rounder. And you always want to find the great ones that come from that particular area that you draft. But where he's going to be used, I don't know. Maybe teams didn't think he could play outside at all, and that's why he went later, because he's a slot-only guy that doesn't have burner high-end 4.25, 4.3, 4.35 speed. It's, more late 4.4s or high 4.4s in his 40-yard dash, but still fast enough. You see the tape that's there. But we talked about it yesterday. I'm excited about Cyrus Allen, but I also temper my enthusiasm because I was excited about Jalen Royals last year.
You and I are about the same page as far as we think he's a good player. I just don't know where he fits. I don't know where this year, I should say, I don't know where he fits with Rashee Rice and Royals. I think being ahead of him, but maybe he jumps Royals and maybe Rice moves outside, and you're looking at your main three being Rice outside, Worthy outside, and Cyrus Allen inside. It just also rookie wide receivers, typically it takes necessity for them to see the field.
The Chiefs overhauled a couple of position groups, and they did not overhaul another one that we thought they would spend a little bit more time on. Maybe that comes in free agency. I want to talk about what that position group is on the other side of the break. And Sterling has to be pumped because there's no doubt in Sterling's mind, Kay Adams knows ball.
She knows ball.
I'd like Jack Caglione to hit a home run. He'd have to pinch hit to do it. More Zone coming up next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. There's a next phase after the draft. We was talking about free agency and then the draft and then the next phase after the draft of filling those holes that may be missing still. The Baltimore Ravens have gone out and signed somebody in free agency, and that is Calais Campbell. He's now going to be a Baltimore Raven, along with Zion Young, who they drafted, Baltimore Raven. The Ravens, by the way, put out like all of their draft calls, and they're all like 5 minutes long. They're all like short films, all the draft calls and everything. Thought that was. I don't. You know what I'll say? It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That it's not just here's 30 seconds, because I always want to, like, okay, well, what's the other side? Okay, now let's see the family when the name is called, right? Let's see the reaction in the room. So I thought that was cool. Every one of their draft picks, like, they did a pretty good job of the production value in-house of putting those whole things together. That was pretty cool. But we've talked about some positions that have been overhauled. Clearly, the running back room is massively different and better than what it was a year ago. We're hoping that there is a pretty decent overhaul with the defensive line. From where it was with Karlaftis and Amenahue and Gelati and Dana and Jones and Tillery and Omar Norman Lott and Noddy and Malik Herring, that were your defensive line to start the season last year, versus Karlaftis and Gelati and R. Mason Thomas, Chris Jones, Omar Norman Lott, Peter Woods, Kyrus Tonga, FAU more than likely, throw in another one or two players. That's a much better defensive line than it was a year ago. But we also discussed the wide receiver room, that you don't have Juju or Hollywood anymore. You brought back Taekwon. So have you just simply gone Rice, Worthy, Taekwon, and you've replaced Juju and Hollywood with Jalen, Royals, and Cyrus Allen? And if that's the case, did you get better? Did you get the same? It's not an overhaul, and it's not the improvement that people were hoping would happen, that maybe they bring in Jordan Tyson. Maybe they bring in a volume guy for when Kelsey and Rice are gone. Maybe they address that with the Juwan Jennings or Tyreek Hill or something like that, or Deebo Samuel, and which I'm not saying these are any of the players that I would want them to do. I'm saying maybe they address that. But it is a position, Sterling, that we were talking about, man, could really use an upgrade because of is Worthy the first rounder that they thought he was going to be, and Rice, how trustworthy is he?
I'd say right now you're probably slightly worse at wide receiver last year, if we're being honest.
Slightly worse this year from last year?
Yeah. We can talk about the potential all we want, but Juju had a role, and it was a really good blocker. It was the little things, the dirty work. Can Royals do that? If you want to say
Cyrus Allen really can't. He's not going to be a blocker.
You'd hope he'd be the Hollywood role of good in the red zone.
Right.
He had a lot of touchdowns. Didn't have or did last year.
So maybe
Hollywood,
one for you replace Juju with Jalen and Hollywood with Cyrus.
But you're talking potential, and as much as we had some concerns with Hollywood last year, he still was decent. It was fine. The money wasn't worth it. The excitement wasn't worth it. But it wasn't like he was a bum last year, right? I think that's a little overstated. But I think they're just counting on the coaching to be better and the scheme to be better. And I believe it. I don't think that the wide receiver room was horrendous last year. I think the coaching and the scheme was horrendous last year. Rice has shown enough when he's on the field to be a really good wide receiver. We can have the wide receiver one talk we want. I've pushed back pretty dramatically against wide receiver one conversations with him, but he's a good wide receiver. Yep. We've seen Worthy in glimpses look really good, but when teams are, playing so many light boxes, you ain't getting by anyone. Safety has a 12-yard head start on you. I don't care how fast you are. It's not gonna matter.
Yeah, the over routes aren't as good when they're dropping everybody deep.
So I think, again, having a better run game, a better scheme, those guys, I think Worthy's the biggest benefactor. That's why I've said I've actually been more enthused, or I'm more enthused on Worthy, I think, than the general public has been this year. I think part of it's because I think he's going to see a lot more one-on-ones. I think they'll use him more in the Hollywood route, where I think he's good in the intermediate route, where I think he is a good route runner, but he wasn't used that way. We saw glimpses, and I think the glimpses will be more of the norm this year for Worthy. So maybe I'm buying into what I want to see happen, but I think there's at least enough reason to see Worthy be the biggest benefactor of a better run game this time around. Maybe Taekwon is as well. Maybe Taekwon continues to see success in the deep ball, but now even more so with teams actually respecting the run.
Right. So replacing Juju and Hollywood with Jalen Royals and Cyrus Allen, if that is the route they end up taking, the question you have, and you talk about potential versus what you've seen, is that Jalen Royals and Cyrus Allen have combined for 86 snap counts in the NFL. Because with all of the talk we had about wide receiver last year, Jalen Royals played 86 snaps the entire season.
Honestly, seems high.
I was surprised too.
Unless does it count special teams?
Nope, special teams, he played 52.
Wow.
So 86 on offense. I was also surprised. I thought it was going to be like 30 or something.
Yeah, I thought like 30.
But yeah, so they've combined for 86 snaps in the NFL. And that's what you run into when you talk about, rookies with Andy Reid. Okay, well, some rookies were thrown into the fire and didn't have a choice. But snap counts, by the way, 86 snap counts, 43 of those came in Week 18.
There we go.
So he played 43 snaps in that final game. He played 5. Here are the 7 games he played in last year, the offensive snap counts. Baltimore, he played 14. Jacksonville, he played 4. Detroit, he played 1. Raiders, he played 16 in the fourth quarter.
There we go.
Tennessee, he played 3. Denver played 5. And then the Raiders, he played 43. So of the 86 snaps, 59 of them were against the Raiders in the fourth quarter
like
and then
Rashard
final
Smith.
game of the season.
Smith was the same way carry-wise.
Yes, right.
Some against the Raiders.
Yeah, so that would be a guy that's going to need to fill in for Juju. We'll see. Field Yates coming up next.
He'll help you fantasy focus while he scoops the news. He's on TV more often than he's in bed. He'll break down the NFL without a single hair ever out of place. It's Field Yates of ESPN. Now in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we continue on a Thursday edition of The Zone. Rookie minicamp starting tomorrow. We'll hear from those rookies that will be talking with the media. They had their Zoom press conferences immediately after being drafted last week, but at the podium tomorrow, we'll hear from them. We continue talking some NFL draft this week, and in this segment with Field Yates from ESPN, NFL insider throughout the season, joining us to talk some draft and NFL. Field, welcome into the show. How are you?
Jason, I'm doing well. Good to catch up, my friend. Hope you enjoyed the draft. Hopefully the weather's turned out there in Kansas City, and the countdown to football's kind of on now.
Yes, it is. I talk about that. I wish the draft was a little bit sooner when we're going through draft season. But then when we get the draft here after it's over, it's like, oh, okay. So now there's like that feel that bridge, getting closer and closer. And yes, the weather is pretty nice around here, mid to high 60s. I'll take it right now for April and on into May. By the way, the draft coverage, for you guys, I don't know if you guys are tipped off beforehand or whatever, but the knowledge that you guys have and just like play the third day to me would be the toughest. But I've also heard some people say the third day is the most fun for them and the draft nicks because that's when they get into the, you get to show off a little bit with your draft knowledge.
Totally. That is the secret sauce of day three is that you spend a lot of time on these prospects throughout the season, and the truth is that, and this is no surprise, right? Like, I don't think your show is spending a lot of time talking about, like, round 6 targets for the Chiefs, right?
Nope.
In the same way that, SportsCenter's not going to say, hey, we're going to have you on tomorrow, and let's talk about your favorite 5th-round linebacker, right? It's, hey, let's talk about Ty Simpson, where you think he could go, or, a player that you're more optimistic on than others, or what the Jets should do at number 2, so on and so forth, right? So you feel a responsibility on day 3 to really bring it for these guys because it's their shining moment.
Yeah.
And you have to be realistic about they're being drafted 200th overall. Like the history suggests, 200th overall is more likely to be cut at the end of training camp than to become an All-Pro. But still, you want to give these players the moment that they have earned. So that day is like definitely a day full of pride in the efforts that went into the preparation. It's also kind of a fun chance to finally deliver some of the stuff that you've been sitting on for, throughout the season. So day 3 is definitely for the hardcores, but we love it.
But I would even say the TV show with the NFL draft and then your guys' podcast, I would guess that, hey, 6th round target linebackers is probably not getting a bunch of clicks and plays, So we got to feed the beast, right? Yes.
We're in the world of quantifiable content these days, right? You go on YouTube and you go look at our mock draft shows versus our round 7 targets, and it'll tell you how much the people want to hear about it. But those that are interested in tuning in on the day of the draft, I think are reflective of people that are more interested in, all right, hey, what do you think of, Cyrus Allen for the Chiefs or whatever it might be, right? The players that come up on day 3 that you're Garrett Nussmeier, he might not be a good example because he was expected to go much higher, but players that go on and how much discussion was there about Jalen Watson 4 years ago when the Chiefs took him? Not a whole lot. And so there's value in talking about them because they can go on to become really good players that make a lot of money, make a lot of plays, and are sort of defining for that specific team's draft class.
Visiting with Field Yates from ESPN. All right, I want to get your thoughts on this draft class for the Kansas City Chiefs. They drafted 7 players, 4 on defense, the first 4 picks all on defense, and then the next 3 on offense, running back, wide receiver, and then you mentioned Nussmeier in the 7th round quarterback. What did you make overall of what Brett Veach, Andy Reid, and the Chiefs front office and coaching staff was able to accomplish in what they drafted?
Yeah, it's sort of in line with what we were just discussing. You're going to disproportionately put weight on the things that took place sooner in the draft, right? Because if we acknowledge the odds of a player being a great player are higher when he's taken earlier, then, those early picks should matter. I really, really like the Chiefs' first 3 selections, with one guy specifically that I think will kind of define whether the draft is a big success or just a success, that being Pierre Woods at 29th overall. So Mansour Delane, did I think he was a guarantee to go top 6? No, but when you look at this draft class and you see the fall of Jermon McCoy, it's very clear that the Chiefs are saying to themselves, corner's our biggest need. We feel like there's one player that's different than the rest. that is Mansour Delane, and you know the bird in hand is better than two in the bush. And with the Chiefs trading up, it's not like the Chiefs gave up, you know, a future one, a second. I mean, it was a third and a fifth round pick
Third
to
and a
move
fifth,
up
yeah.
for 9 to 6 in a bad draft. That's a pretty moderate price to pay, is my opinion. So the Chiefs probably said if they can get 6 or 7 guys total out of this draft, it probably aligns with the number of draftable players they have, like the Mansour Delane pick. And then, you know, I love R. Mason Thomas. He was 24th on my final big board.
Oh, wow.
Very optimistic on the player coming into the process. I thought he would go in the first round. I think he has first-round skills. And, you know, for the Chiefs specifically, one of the things that the Chiefs have done a good job of is they've done a good job of landing sort of these rugged, grinding pass rushers, right? The George Karlaftises, the Mike Dana types, the guys that, you know, in a good season, Karlaftis might push for 10 sacks, but maybe he's more comfortable in or maybe he's more likely to end up in like the 8-sack range. Everything in the draft is a push and a pull. And so for the Chiefs, the pull is, hey, you know, R. Mason Thomas is 241 pounds. He's not going to be the guy that you're going to be saying every single snap, hey, take on some 330-pound offensive tackle in the run game and just totally outmuscle him. But he's got real juice. And I think the Chiefs lacked the juice that R. Mason Thomas has, which, by the way, I don't think he's a total hindrance or a total liability against the run. I thought he gave Caden Proctor, who went 12th overall to Miami at 348 pounds, business in the playoff game between Alabama and Oklahoma. But I thought very highly of the player. I think he's not just a really good player, but a good fit for what the Chiefs, I think, were lacking this past season.
Yeah, he ended up being one of my favorite players, and it's probably a little bit of a bias of the type of player that I've been wanting to see the Chiefs draft. There's a lot of question around here, Field, as to whether or not he will play, because Spags has been pretty reluctant to play players that aren't his prototypical, 4-3 hand in the dirt defensive end that's going to be, 6'5", 6'6", and 260, 270 pounds, Zion Young or TJ Parker, along those lines. And they passed on Zion for R. Mason Thomas. But what I like about it is I think with Peter Woods and R. Mason Thomas, I think the Chiefs are saying we've acquired and we've built our defensive line with certain traits, but we have no explosiveness. We have no juice in rushing the passer, and we've got to add that. And even if R. Mason Thomas isn't a traditional Spags 3-down defensive lineman or defensive end to start off, 3rd and 15, they couldn't get off the field last year. And so just if he's on the field just to do that in 3rd and longs and rush the passer, then for this team, I think he's worth the 40th pick.
So a couple of things here. I was listening to Ryan Nutt speak after the draft, and he kind of dove into what you were talking about, is that we felt like we needed speed up front on defense. And R. Mason Thomas is that. And I'm not Zion Young, good player. Mm-hmm. Even Reuben Bain at number 9. I'm sure there was at least a conversation at some point in the process. Like, is this a guy that we would take here if we're still there at number 9? The fact that they didn't take those players to me was telling. The fact that they took an R. Mason Thomas to me was telling. So on the one hand, is it a traditional Spags defensive end? No, but are you going to take a guy 40th overall if your defensive coordinator is not on board with playing him? Also, no. Just as an aside, I love listening to these post-draft press conferences from the GMs and head coaches as well, but the scouts that are so deeply invested in the draft process. I think you get really good insight. I think Ryan Nutt, there's been quite a pipeline here for Kansas City in producing high-level front office types. Obviously the Mike Borgonzis and the Ryan Poles and the Brant Tillises of the world. I think Ryan Nutt's probably a certain knock on that door that you just listen to him and knowing him from my time working with him together and knowing how hard he works. Him and certainly Mike Bradway are two names that I think are, if this thing gets back on track, wouldn't surprise me if those are some of the next up names that you're hearing from Kansas City. Yeah, and Bradway saying on Friday night after the second round that Spags signed off on this and he was excited about the player. We'll see. Hopefully, that ends up working out. Field Yates from ESPN is our guest. One of the things that we talked about as a collective around here going into the draft, and it was sort of a head-scratcher or confusion locally, but it seemed to be a common narrative nationally about the Chiefs have to fix the offensive line. They've got issues on the offensive line this. And locally we're going, Simmons at left tackle, Kingsley was pretty good at guard. They've got
Creed, they've got Trey, and they've paid Jalen Moore to be their right tackle. They liked what they saw in Esapole, who filled in last year on the left side and right side. So it feels like they've got 5 starters and 3 tackles to go along with that. I'm not sure where the issues are on offensive line. And Field, I thought it was pretty good on Thursday night when Brett Veach said, well, trading up or sitting there and we let people just continue to think that we were looking at offensive line. And then he started laughing because he couldn't help himself with that. Did you, going into the draft, the smoke screens are great. And I don't know if Brett Veach was telling everybody, we need offensive line help, to then make people think they're going offensive line. But the smoke screens heading in didn't make sense locally that they needed offensive line help. But one of the things that kept coming up, Field, was Josh Simmons. And do you believe in Josh Simmons or trust Josh Simmons? And I think what we saw with this draft is that the Chiefs don't have any issues with Josh Simmons. Because if they did, then I absolutely think they would go tackle in the first round to protect Patrick Mahomes if they didn't think Josh Simmons was, one, good enough or could be counted on to not leave the team for a month randomly.
Yeah, and by the way, it felt like when the Josh Simmons conversations came up, they kind of got spoken around. It wasn't direct. It wasn't, it was almost like speaking in non-specific terms.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to make of it, truthfully. I actually, the best case for the Chiefs in addressing the offensive line in the first round was, when you're picking 9th overall, you want to grab a premium player. If the highest rated player on your board is an offensive lineman, and Jalen Moore is going to be a free agent after this season, and your quarterback's coming off of an ACL tear, if all those stars align, am I going to tell them that's dumb? No. But clearly, for the purposes of lining up and winning a game tomorrow, I think that offensive line was not nearly the need that both cornerback and pass rusher were, and just defensive front seven in general. So, I tend to be a little bit less worried personally when discussing team needs and addressing something that may not seem a big team need, because I do think the draft really is at its best when teams are just hammering away at value. But the Chiefs did, actions speak louder than words, and the Chiefs' actions tell us that they are far more comfortable with the offensive line than some corners of the draft media were going into the process.
Field Yates from ESPN is our guest. What do you make of Garrett Nussmeier falling all the way as he did in the 7th round? And what kind of player do the Chiefs have? And have they found their sort of developmental backup over the next 4 years, or the next Andy Reid, he plays sporadically and then they flip him for a draft pick in a few years?
Well, I think for their purposes, they hope. The answer is they don't, right? And they don't have to play him very much, because it means that Patrick is staying healthy. Maybe he's playing in blowouts only, or Week 18 games. There's every year there's a quarterback that slides much further than we expect it to be. A couple years ago, Spencer Rattler went over 100 picks after Bo Nix, and he was kind of viewed as a day 2 player. Last year, obviously, Quinn Ewers goes in the 7th round. I know Shedeur Sanders went in the 5th round too, but Quinn Ewers is a big dropper, and now Garrett Nussmeier is kind of this year's version of it. With Nuss, I would say some of the limitations are that he's not a very good athlete by quarterback standards. On top of that, there's also questions about, I'd say the arm strength is fine, but it's not going to blow you away. He's got the health concerns. He didn't play very well this year. But the best version of Nuss in 2024 is good. It's really solid. I mean, he showed very good anticipation, very good accuracy. He is a good processor. Everybody knows he's the son of an NFL offensive coordinator, been around the game for a long time, smart kid, played in a big program, showed loyalty to the program, showed patience at the program. So I don't know exactly why he fell to 249th, but I thought it was a totally worthwhile investment at that point, because what's the worst thing that happens? If he struggles in training camp and you have to move on, and he's on the practice squad or with somebody else, not a lot of harm there for the Chiefs, with obviously Justin being locked in as QB2, and, the draft will come back around next year, and the Chiefs, I think, have shown a decent vision or Andy Reid specifically has shown himself pretty capable of identifying depth-level quarterbacks that could help you in a pinch if needed.
Last one for you, and this is not a Chiefs-related thing, but it is something that I find to be of interest. If the NFL were to, let's say two steps here, NCAA says, Sorsby, you're ineligible permanently. And the NFL says, okay, we will now put you in the supplemental draft. How many teams do you think would a team be willing to give up a first, or is maybe a second in the supplemental draft the highest you'll get? With teams that may be looking at next year's quarterback crop and going, this was a guy we thought was going to be in that group of maybe top 15. Maybe maybe you're a team that's been hoarding some picks and you go, shoot, let's throw a second and we get him a year earlier and we don't have to give up a first rounder next year. Is he a guy that might be pretty coveted if he's in the supplemental draft?
I want to throw a gigantic caveat, which is just, I obviously don't know all the details and the specifics of this gambling-related matter, and teams are going to have a different level of tolerance. It's kind of a new story for us, right? Like we haven't really had anything like this. So let's assume that it's not something graver than that, where there's like serious character concerns that would, render the player almost undraftable, right? I think a 2 is probably where this starts. Is my guess. Yeah. I just don't know if you can really do it with the first a first round pick. You don't know exactly how you're going to be this upcoming year. It's a really strong draft class. But man, I tell you, I really do believe that a second round pick would be in play for Brandon Sorsby. I don't know exactly the team, but if you're the Jets, I think you have to throw your second round pick in there, right?
Yeah.
I would think. But,
I would, and then it gives you a year to see if this could be the guy, and if not, well, then we go next year still looking for a quarterback, and we take a chance. Totally. And now we almost got 2 guys, out of it. And one guy, yes, we gave up a second rounder for it, but at least we got to see it. We got to try it. We had to buy it, yes. There's no return on it, but at least we got to try it and see what he was for a year, and then know, all right, we'll eliminate that guy because that might have been a guy you ended up with after the draft process, but you got him for a year. If I was a team that needed a quarterback, even if I was like the Steelers, I would hope that if I put in a first rounder, it's a late first rounder for him and not, dang it, we gave up a top 10 pick because it all blew up. Like a team like that might be good and stable everywhere but quarterback, would you be willing to throw in one if your mind is expecting that to be somewhere in the late 20s as opposed to the Jets maybe looking at somewhere in the early 30s?
Completely agree there. That's exactly where I'm aligned with you on that. And these things are all, in some ways, rolls of the dice. It's just a matter of how calculated they are. But, yes, I would be on board with you, too, for Sorsby in the supplemental draft if it ends up going down that path.
Field Yates from
It sure sounds like it's got a chance.
Yeah, I if I'm guessing, I think that's probably where it ends up. And then we'd have to wonder, is the NFL going to suspend him? Is there something that would be a carryover from that? I have no idea with all of those things, which then could affect the supplemental draft too, if he has to face that. So, Field Yates from ESPN. Field, you're the man. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today to talk about the NFL draft and the Chiefs. And we'll catch up down the road before the football season gets underway again. Appreciate it, man.
Much appreciated for having me on, Jason. Talk to you again sometime soon.
Absolutely. There's Field Yates, one of the best when it comes to breaking down the draft and talking some NFL with us, and have him on every Monday throughout the football season, getting his thoughts on a week-by-week basis, and now the draft being done, and saying that a couple of quotes here. I really like the first 3 picks, with Peter Woods being a potential make or break for the draft class. And then he said he loved, more than anything, the R. Mason Thomas draft pick. He said R. Mason Thomas on his final big board was 24th overall, and said that he's got first-round skills. And so R. Mason Thomas, Field Yates, a pretty big fan of. And then, talking about the Josh Simmons thing and Nussmeier as well. So interesting stuff there from Field as he looks at it and says, Peter Woods could be a potential make or break for the draft class. We'll see. We'll talk about maybe what that means. Like, what does he mean by that being a potential make or break for the draft class? I've got some ideas on that. And Brendan Sorsby, I think it would be a fascinating discussion if he's deemed permanently ineligible, which I think that's probably where it's barreling towards, betting on a game that you're at eligible for in Indiana, betting on a game that you're potentially playing in. That's not going to be something you can overcome, I think. And if he's eligible for the supplemental draft, if I'm a team that needs a quarterback, if he's a guy that I really believe in and think that he could be a top pick next year, then yeah, you would take a chance. Also with the caveat of, Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik and a couple of other guys were top 10, top 15 picks going into last year, and you'd have put in a pretty high pick in a supplemental, what would you – I mean, Peter Woods ended up being a first-round pick anyway, but if Peter Woods coming off of 2024 was in the supplemental draft for some reason, I think everybody would have thrown a first-rounder in there. Yeah. Maybe not everybody, but most people would have thrown a first-rounder in there going, oh my, this guy's the number one player in America. Like, you might have to pick number one to get this guy next year.
He's going to supplement this Chiefs defense.
That's exactly right. So we'll see. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. I want to talk about what he means by, specifically, Peter Woods, number 99 on his jersey, but number one in your hearts. Sterling, more zone next.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Mother's Day is your moment to make her feel truly special. This is SSJ. Your gift for mom is already set at Plaza Aesthetics and Wellness. Beautifully packaged, even as a gift card, and available in any amount. And now, for a limited time, gift cards are up to 50% off. Dr. Amber Bochos personally oversees every treatment for natural, trusted results. From injectables to skin rejuvenation and wellness. It's a one-stop shop. Don't wait. Visit plazamedicalspa.com today or give them a call at 816-463-4440.
If you've been dreaming of a new outdoor living area for your family to enjoy all year long, Summit Lawn and Landscape can help you design and build it. Paved and stone patios, outdoor kitchens, fire pits, outdoor fireplaces, landscape lighting, and retaining walls. Extend the comfort of your home outside with a new inviting and relaxing addition to your home. Sit by a fire, relax under the stars. Whatever you envision, Summit Lawn and Landscape can help. Call Summit Lawn and Landscape at 816-966-9434 or summitlawn.com.
Kansas City is a soccer town, but do you know the science behind the sport? The Linda Hall Library invites you to Behind the Goal, a special event exploring how data is transforming the world's most popular game. Perfect for young athletes and lifelong fans alike, it's a chance to see your favorite sport through a whole new lens. Join us on May 7th at the library for this free public program. Visit lindahall.org to register.
Stephen St. John here. Is your lawn ready to be the envy of the neighborhood? Custom Lawn and Landscape makes achieving a green, weed-free lawn easy with their expert 7-step fertilization and weed control program. With over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County, they're excited to now be serving Lawrence and all of Kansas City as well. And here's the best part. Get your first application absolutely free. Call Custom Lawn today or visit customlawn.com to claim your free application and get started. Custom Lawn and Landscape, because beautiful lawns don't happen by accident. This is SSJ for Kansas City Credit Union. Do you love your car but not your rate? With Kansas City Credit Union's low auto loan interest rates, refinancing your existing auto loan with KCCU's low auto loan rates, now starting at 4.25%, will help save you money. It's a local service with flexible loan terms. Live local, bank local at Kansas City Credit Union. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information and tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
Hi, this is Dr. John Doan from Discover Vision. Have you been told LASIK isn't for you? Are you thinking cataract surgery is your next step? Think again. Today's advanced vision correction options can reduce your need for readers and contacts and are customized to your lifestyle and long-term vision goals. Learn what's possible during my free webinar on Thursday, April 30th at noon. Register today at discovervision.com/810sports. Again, discovervision.com/810sports.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering
We got some sports or leisure coming up at 1 o'clock on this Thursday edition of The Zone. Thank you to Field Yates from ESPN joining us. Matt Lane in the 11 o'clock hour. Sports or leisure coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Field Yates saying that the first 3 picks, but then mentioned that Peter Woods being a potential make or break for the draft class. And the way that I would hear that or explain that if I were saying it would be, all right, so I like the Mansour Delane pick. I know what would be expected of the level of play that I think you're getting from him. It's more of a predictable trait in how he played, how dominant he was, how good he is all over, the tape, the patience, all of that. I think he's going to be a plug-and-play good player at least.
Sure.
He mentions R. Mason Thomas. All right, what you're getting is you're getting a guy that can rush the passer. Is he going to be a guy that struggles against the run? Maybe, but also, maybe not. Played well in the playoff game against Caden Proctor that went top 15, and that was against the run, too, for R. Mason Thomas when Oklahoma and Alabama played each other. So you think, all right, here you go, you're getting a pass rusher. And if I were to say, all right, it's a make or break for Peter Woods, it's because, one, you don't have the 74th pick, and those are the 3 players you got on the first 2 days, and they're all top 40 picks. One of those is a first-rounder in pick number 29. If Peter Woods is just a generic, Glenn Dorsey-type player that's like, oh, yeah, okay, you drafted him, and he's on the field. Is he doing much? I don't know. And Delane's playing well, and R. Mason Thomas is playing well. You're going to have to get some stuff from the other 4 players or other 3 players outside of Nussmeier. The other 3 players to really step up in that. Whereas if you get a certain level of play that's expected from Mansour Delane and R. Mason Thomas, and Spags plays him, and if Peter Woods becomes the player that plays more to his flashes, then you can be talking about a draft class for the top 3 picks that help take you into the next era of Chiefs football on the defensive side post Chris Jones.
Yeah, I think I would agree with him being the X factor of the draft class. I think that's totally a fair again, we're talking about a guy who, I know we keep going back to this talking point, so I know it can be a little draining or grating. He was going to be a top 5, top 10 pick if he would have came out the year prior. So the talent's there. You know the potential and the upside's there. You see, and that's why I even think the Nussmeier pick was so solid as well. Getting guys with that sort of upside where you do see the top-end talent, even if the consistency isn't there. I just keep going back to, I think Clemson was a dumpster fire last year. I think it was more the team, not him. I think it was him. The Chief, basically did what the Chiefs tried doing to Norman Lott last year. Hey, let's bulk you up and put you as a one tech. What?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why would you do that to your best player?
We don't want to trade for Derek Nottie, so let's see if Omar Norman Lott can be Derek Nottie for us.
That's why Kyrus Tonga is going to be the difference maker in that rotation.
Big, yeah.
Correct. And so I do agree, because I think Peter Woods, Emmett Johnson would be nice, or Cyrus Allen, or name a guy in the draft, and you'd say, yeah, that'd be nice to have happen. But I think Peter Woods is the guy that you've seen the glimpses, you know what could be. Can the consistency be there and translate to the NFL level? Obviously, Chris Jones has at least 1 more year left. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3. Who knows? Who knows what the Chris Jones timeline is going to look like? You're not saying can he replace Chris Jones, just how you're not saying can someone replace Travis Kelce. The odds of that are slim. But can he be 85% of that? Can he still be a guy, a dude on your defensive line for the long term? Can he be a better version of what Karlaftis gives you at a different position, right? Can he be a Pro Bowl defensive tackle? I think the answer is, if you talked about any of the D tackles who were drafted, does he have the best chance of being a Pro Bowler? Does he have the best chance?
I like the chances of him being that based on what we saw the high-level play can be.
Sure.
Caleb Banks scares me because of the foot injury. And
agreed.
If the Vikings don't draft him, I don't know, does somebody else take Caleb Banks before the Chiefs are picking at 29? And I would love to know the Chiefs draft board of where they had Banks and where they had Woods. I mean, maybe they had Peter Woods over Caleb Banks. And, he goes to the Minnesota Vikings at pick 18, and they're like, oh, interesting. All right, well, they took defensive tackle, and it wasn't our guy. That's great. Or they went damn, I really didn't think Caleb Banks was going to go that high. We were maybe thinking about trading up a couple of spots if Caleb Banks was there at defensive tackle because the foot injury didn't bother him as much, and he might be with the skills and flash and consistency outside of the injury of just potentially being a dominant defensive tackle taking over for Chris Jones. Maybe that was the case, but the fact that Peter Woods starts off with the high-level traits are against the run, and then the explosiveness that he can turn the play action into then a pass rush, which the Chiefs don't have. They don't have a guy that can solid, take on the block, but it's play action. Well, now I can shed and get after the quarterback. They don't have that. They haven't had that guy on their team for a while. Those traits are, he could be a Pro Bowler. I don't know that he's the most likely one because I think if Caleb Banks is healthy, then, and Caden McDonald can be just an absolute stud run stuffer. But he's got the traits that can be that. And if he plays to those traits, if Joe Cullen gets the best out of him and maybe playing next to Chris Jones, then he could be that guy that grows into a Pro Bowl defensive tackle from this draft class.
Yeah, I just think that he's the guy. I think Peter Woods is the guy I would tab as if he hits, that's maybe best case scenario for Kansas City.
So if there's one all-pro player out of this,
yeah, or I mean, again,
I would say Mansour Delane is who I would want to be the all-pro player out of the draft class, just because of what you spent and the value of choosing.
Or if you'd say R. Mason Thomas, because that means he's getting 15 sacks. But
and maybe it's randomly Trent McDuffie was never a Pro Bowler. Okay, so he was just a guy that was an all-pro, but did not make a Pro Bowl. It's so weird that that's the case. But if you said, no, Mansour Delane, would you take your chances on Mansour Delane being a good player? A good player. You can be a good player and not be an all-pro.
Sure.
You can be one of the top 10 cornerbacks in the league and not be an all-pro. First team, second team, all-pro, there's 4 cornerbacks. Throw in a slot cornerback, there's 6. If you're talking about just specifically outside corners, first team, second team, all-pro, you got 4 cornerbacks. You can be a top 5 cornerback outside and not be a quote-unquote first or second team all-pro. So would you take your chances that he's still going to be a high-level player if you said, no, the all-pro is going to be Peter Woods or R. Mason Thomas? I think I might do that. I think I might take my chances and say, I think the tape and the prospect of Mansour Delane is such that I think there's going to be a baseline level of play at the cornerback position. But if you're saying you got an all-pro player out of any of the draft picks, I might choose Peter Woods.
Yeah.
I think that might be my pick because then you have that transition from Chris Jones to an all-pro defensive tackle, and we know what the Chiefs have been able to do in having a disrupting interior. And we'll see what they can do with R. Mason Thomas or George Karlaftis and some of the blitz schemes and things like that. I think that, as I'm discussing it in my mind, I think that might be the route I go. And just because I think it would be easy to take a bird in the hand to go, Mansour Delane, all-pro, boom, shutdown guy. You spent the 6th pick on him. You spent the 74th and 148 on him to get him. That's great if he turns out to be that. But he can still be one of the best cornerbacks in the league and not be an all-pro.
Yeah.
If you've got an all-pro defensive tackle in today's defensive tackle world, where there's some damn fine defensive tackles across the league, and there's a guy playing next to you that's also viewed as an all-pro, yeah, I think that's who I would choose. As I'm talking myself into it, I'm going Peter Woods.
There we go.
I think R. Mason Thomas is the pick. If you have an edge rusher on this defense that's an all-pro with all the other good edge rushers, the Chiefs just fixed that position.
Yeah.
Peter Woods would be a great, to have as an all-pro. I take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
No.
But I think R. Mason Thomas, impact-wise, it'd have much more financial ramifications for the Chiefs positively if R. Mason Thomas is an all-pro.
What would you go with, Sterling?
Yeah, it's Woods or R. Mason Thomas. I just think that Woods is the most realistic option. Yeah, if R. Mason Thomas did, I'd be thrilled. I just don't know if he's going to play enough on first and second down.
But that's not even the case. We're just saying he becomes that. So if he becomes that, he's playing. If he becomes that, he becomes a guy that he's sort of compared to, and it's the Oklahoma part of it is Nick Benito.
Then yeah, I'd probably say it's R. Mason Thomas.
One of these guys becomes you either get Nick Benito or Dexter Lawrence, or you know what, Jeffrey Simmons.
That's so tough.
Nick Benito or Jeffrey Simmons out of these guys.
Yes. I don't think there's a bad answer.
I agree with that. I don't think
there's not one. You could argue either way. Maybe it's harder to be a all-pro edge rusher because you're going against Will Anderson and Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons and Aiden Hutchinson. So, like, if you Benito was one, but that's an outside line. So I am intrigued. Does he get listed as an outside linebacker or defensive end? Where will, because the Chiefs play a 4-3, and so he'll probably be listed as a defensive end.
I would guess, yeah. He wouldn't be an outside linebacker.
Right, it wouldn't be a 3-4, yeah. So if he's going as a defensive end, because it does change for who you go up against. He goes up against Will Anderson, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson. Those were the All-Pros last year at D end.
Second team was Brian Burns, Daniil Hunter, and Aiden Hutchinson.
And so if he was an outside linebacker, he goes up against Nick Benito, Brian Burns, Tuli Tuipulotu, and Byron Young. Because outside linebacker and edge or defensive end are listed different on the All-Pros.
Yeah.
That was my point of he wouldn't be in the same position group. That's why R. Mason Thomas is going up against Will, Myles, Micah, Aiden if he's listed as an edge. And that's why I think to Michael's point, if there is an All-Pro and he gets it as edge, R. Mason Thomas, that means he is one of the top 4, top 5 edge rushers defensive ends in all of football.
You'd also be in the interior going up against Jeffrey Simmons and
Quinnen Williams, Cam Hayward, Leonard Williams, Zach Allen.
Yeah.
Kobe Turner.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm just so used to Chris Jones and having that disruptor. And I do think, like, we're seeing more and more over the years, as the years progress, that interior defensive tackle is becoming more and more valuable, and teams are starting to covet that a little bit more. And I think the Chiefs would choose defensive end. I think if the Chiefs had their choice, they would say defensive end. And I say that because even as dominant as Chris Jones is, in obvious pass rushing situations, don't they put him at defensive end often? Didn't they try to move him to defensive end one year?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they're telling you, what they view defensive end as opposed to defensive tackle. And on the offensive side, we can talk about what they view, left tackle or guard. They took an all-pro guard and turned him into a generic left tackle with Joe Thuney. They thought the left tackle was so much more vital than having an all-pro left guard that they moved an all-pro left guard, replaced him with a inferior left guard, and turned that guy into a generic left tackle who at times could play above his weight and at times got pushed around. And unfortunately, the time that he got pushed around was on the national stage in the Super Bowl, and that was rough.
Yeah.
So I think the Chiefs would choose probably the defensive end, but I don't care. I'm staying with my pick. You can't talk
the
me
pick
into
that I
changing.
talked you into, and then Michael talked me into picking R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah. I think you're right. Cyrus Gray.
I'll say this.
Cyrus
Peter
Allen,
Woods, I guess
I don't know why
if
Cyrus
Peter-
Gray would be the guy, but Cyrus Allen.
If Cyrus Gray, that'd be a hell of a comeback.
Right. One heck of a comeback. But you know what? All-pro running backs work too.
It's kind of hard when you're talking about top-tier edge rusher and top-tier defensive tackle because they do get paid a lot of money. Like, it'd be a huge hit to your salary cap. But later on down the line, seeing where the edge market's going, if Peter Woods is a stud defensive tackle, you might have to pay him top 3 money, but that top 3 money's not going to be as much as edge. And if you get the same impact.
But so then the financial value would be you'd want an all-pro edge on a second-round contract as opposed to an all-pro defensive tackle
if you're talking
on a
the
first-round
rookie contract.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, are you getting the better value?
If you're trying to pay him a second contract, then I get your point.
Because you're getting pick number 40's contract, and if he's an all-pro for a guy that's $40 million.
I'll say Garrett Nussmeier because that means you can
that makes
flip
sense.
him for
He's an all-pro. All-pro quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. Something happened. I don't want that. No, I don't choose.
flip him for
you know what?
5 first-rounders.
I abstain. I abstain. No, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm not picking him. I'll pick everybody but Nussmeier. If Kennedy becomes that, well, then now you've got a cornerback that's an all-pro, along with Mansour Delane. That if probably wouldn't go Emmett Johnson because
I mean,
I don't know that you need an all-pro running back. Like, have a good running back, that's fine. I don't think this team needs an all-pro running back. It'd be nice if they had Bijan or James Cook or Christian McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor, because those are the names you're going to be included with. If you're talking about all-pro, that's great. But they've got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, those other players had Michael Penix, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, Daniel Dimes. Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, I'm sticking with it. I'm going Peter Woods. I'm doing that. Don't care what you guys think. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and I think Sterling is pretty excited that he would say Kay Adams knows ball, maybe. We'll explain next. All right, Sports or Leisure. We talk and do that in the 1 o'clock hour. Playing for $25 to Johnny's Tavern, playing some Sports or Leisure in the 1 o'clock hour. We've talked a lot of NFL draft with Field Yates joining us the first segment of this hour. Let's play this clip. Kay Adams on her Up and Adams show talks about a player that she would like the Chiefs to go out and sign in free agency. So let's take a listen as to who she wants to see connected with the Chiefs.
Hit me with Cam Jordan. I've just done a lot of thinking about this. We spoke to a lot of people about this, and I want to make my case here that he does, in fact, need to be a Kansas City Chief. Big year last year. I don't know what we're doing. 10.5 sacks for Cam. I think the Chiefs, they can reach at an edge. I don't know why not. I know you drafted Mason Thomas in the second round, but you can't have too many of these, especially if you want to get back to greatness and win a Super Bowl. I hope that Spytek isn't listening to this as we give love to the Chiefs and hope that they do well and bid them, want them to be competitive next year. That AFC West is nuts. I'd like to see it for Cam. Saints fans are a different breed because I think that they are understanding of where they are. They're going to win. They're going to contend. They've got a winnable division down there. But I don't know if you're getting to a Super Bowl while Cam is still playing. You're making all the right moves, most explosive weaponry in the NFL maybe on offense. I love what the Saints got going on. But I would like to see him get a ring before he hangs it up. I think he's coming back to play, and I'd like it to be. If it was the Saints, I don't know what's holding that up, who's waiting, what the deal is, whatever. But if Cam's on the, if you're on the fence, if you get an offer from Kansas City, please take it. The Chiefs have one random NFC crossover game on the schedule this year at Atlanta, where you can make yourself at home one more time. I'd like to see that cute little storybook ending. From the fit perspective, am I dreaming, Hammy? Am I making a Disney movie, something cute, or could this actually work?
No, I think it actually is something that makes a lot of sense for them because you look at the draft, they drafted R. Mason Thomas, who is an explosive pass rusher. I think one of the most explosive, pure pass rushers in this class, but I don't know if you feel comfortable having him out there on early downs. Cam, as he always likes to take pride in his conversations with us, he is a complete every down defensive end on rushing downs. You can have him out there, set it and forget it, feel comfortable. So they don't really have that guy right now in the room. On the other side, Ashton Gelati is still unproven. So I think Cam is a perfect fit for kind of what they still need. And I think you add him, you feel great about that edge rusher room now in Kansas City.
So Kay Adams saying connecting a free agency or a free agent with a team, and her connection is Cam Jordan and the Chiefs, which you agree with or disagree with, Sterling. I don't know what you're feeling on this one.
I am so in. I want this so bad.
I know.
This needs to happen. Kay Adams knows ball, and we need to listen.
The every down defensive end part of it, I'm good with. What I would be worried about is
nothing.
No, I'd be worried about if they didn't draft R. Mason Thomas and they brought in Cam Jordan, and it's like, okay, cool, now you just solved your getting after the quarterback and sacking the quarterback issue, because you have to ask, is 2025 an outlier? Is 2025 closer to what he is? When in 2023 he had 2 sacks, played all 17 games. 2024, he had 4 sacks, played all 17 games. And then last year, he had 10.5.
Well, I don't think you're paying a lot for Cam Jordan.
I agree. It's probably $6 million. Spotrac has it listed as a $6 million approximate value. 1-year deal, around $6 million. So you're not paying a lot. Maybe you can throw in some incentives, although it'd be tough for those incentives to be not likely to be earned when he has 10.5 sacks and he plays in all 17 games.
Has he missed a game ever?
I don't know that he has, because he is
16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 17, 17, 17. I mean, maybe in 22 when they switched to a 17-game schedule, right?
That's worth the contract right away.
I mean, the point I make, you have a guy who, knock on wood, is healthy. Yeah. That right there is already a huge reason. You have a guy who's been healthy his entire career.
Yeah, missed 1 game in his career.
And got 10.5 sacks last year. I don't care how old he is. Calais Campbell just signed with the Ravens.
Missed 2 games in his career.
2 games?
So he missed 1 in 21, and he missed 1 in 22.
And he was a Pro Bowler both those years.
Yeah. So he is...
combined 21 sacks those 2 years.
He has missed 2 games in his entire career.
In 15 years.
That's nutty. As a defensive lineman.
So the answer is yes. I want Cam Jordan in Kansas City yesterday.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely be in favor of that. I am more in favor of it when you draft R. Mason Thomas.
Yes.
Because if you're saying, all right, you need to worry about getting sacks, I would be worried about, okay, you signed Cam Jordan. Boom, you just fixed your sacks issue because he had 10.5 last year.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, he had 4 the year before and 2 the year before. So we had combined the previous 2 years playing 34 games and only had 6 sacks. Then he has 10.5 last year alone. He also had 15 tackles for loss. The previous 2 years of 34 games combined, he had 10. So last year was awesome. He had 10.5 sacks and 15 tackles for loss. Previous 2 years combined, 6 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Before that, then 8.5 and 13, 12.5, 7.5, 15.5, 12, 13. Like, he's been a double-digit sack guy most of his career. And 4 out of 5 years. But then the 2 years that he wasn't was 7.5 and 8.5 until these last 3 years when he had 2, 4, and then 10.5 last year. So was last year him getting back to being that player and he had a rough couple of years? Or last year was the villain in the movie that's almost done and then reaches back up for one last grasp and grabs to try to, and then eventually just fades away?
I take the risk of, even if he fades away, he's an improvement over Aminahu last year, of Mike Dana last year.
Yeah.
And again, the health is he can do inside out. You can move him around if you have to, but
yep.
I think Cam Jordan that's the guy. I've been saying it for months, and I'll stand by it now. What's funny is I thought Calais Campbell's another guy that could have made some sense, and he's 40. I get it. I get he's old, but when you're still productive, I'll take that small contract risk.
If you have Cam Jordan on your team, your 9th defensive lineman becomes FAU.
Love it.
So you would have Karlaftis Gelati, R. Mason Thomas, Cam Jordan, Chris Jones, Omar Norman Lott, Peter Woods, Kairos Tonga, FAU.
Yeah.
Those would be 4 defensive tackles, 4 defensive ends, and then FAU as 9. And if you want to go 10, then you can add another defensive tackle somewhere. But if you feel like Cam Jordan could be a guy that slides down inside the defensive tackle and has that versatility that's there, but you also have different guys that can come on and pass rush, and you wouldn't need somebody to slide down into the interior to be a disruptor there because you would already have Jones and Woods, hopefully, and Omar Norman Lott returning, hopefully, and then you'd have R. Mason Thomas or Cam Jordan or Karlaftis or whoever, or maybe FAU if he turns out to be like, wow, you're getting something from FAU and he's a pass rushing specialist. Look how fast he is on the outside.
Your one hope is that it's not Harmon Killebrew.
Yeah, I mean,
where you play
I don't think Harmon Killebrew would offer much on this team at edge.
But where you basically play for one
that.
team your whole career, and then
I don't.
I was Washington, Minnesota, but you get the point.
Right, I totally get the point.
And then you come to KC for your final year at age 39, and you OPS at 692.
No, I don't. I agree. Harmon Killebrew would be a terrible edge for this team.
I don't know, man. He had some power.
But one, he's dead. So mark him off the list, please.
Fine. He had power.
Can Cam Jordan hit in the 3 spot?
I don't think Spags plays Killebrew. He's 6 foot 190.
Wait, if he's right-handed though, he may be playing over Cags today. Nice job, Q.
Well, Sterling's pissed.
Yeah, dude. Q out here just saying, hey, sorry that you're unfortunate enough to be left-handed. I don't care that Jeffrey Springs has a reverse split. We don't care. I love analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is me. I'm Q. I love analytics, but I don't use them when it's lefty versus righty for some reason. I'm going to go back to the 1800s. What are you doing?
Well, he is using it for lefty versus righties. He's just not using it today with a reverse split.
Dumb!
Because Jeffrey Springs is better against righties. Or, excuse me.
Yes.
Yes, he's better against righties than he is lefties.
And so that means you don't play Cags, who... What are we doing? Where are we at as a society when Q is out here saying we're going to have bad defense and bad bats?
I'm more... that ball on Sunday was, but haven't... He sent one 450 the other day.
But you know why? Maybe he's better against lefties now. Have we thought about that?
Maybe.
Q?
Maybe. I'm more worried about the defensive team he's putting out on the field today.
Yes.
Because Collins in left, Lane Thomas in center, Marte in right, Nick Lofton at second, and Salvi at first.
This is one of the lineups of all time.
But they do have Diaz behind the plate, so that's good. Sports or Leisure next.
It's leisure.
Sports.
It's leisure.
Sports.
It's both.
Oh, it is. Or. Is it both or?
Well, I don't know. According to the game that you came up with,
Exactly.
it's and, but you made it confusing.
But it's or. It's called sports or leisure. That means you only have to get one of them, right?
Wrong. The answer is you have to get both. Call in 913-381-810. We
Well, that
will
makes no
ask you
sense.
a sports
Yeah?
and a leisure question. You get them both right.
Well, no. We don't ask you sports and a leisure question because you got to get the first one right. Then it goes to the end.
yeah, but,
so it's
you know.
sports or and.
Well, if you get it right, you get $25 to Johnny's Tavern, where you can take me if you want to, and I will buy beers on your tab.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Or not take me, and you still get the $25 gift card to Johnny's Tavern if you win and get both questions correct.
Or if you take Sterling, we'll give you $50 because you have to do that. You know, you can do that if you want to, or you can just leave him behind. It'd be great. It's plus when you say sports or leisure, SOL sounds so much better than SAL, than SAL.
Sports out of luck.
That's exactly what we say. 913-381-810 is the phone number to join us. 913-381-810, phone number to be a part of the show and play some sports or leisure today. We shall see. We talked a lot of NFL today. We talked some Royals baseball, too, with them getting ready for Game 3. Pivotal Game 3, rubber match game there in Sacra, Vegas, the A's. Oakvigmento A's. The Los Mentoland A's. There we go. Las Vegas, Sacramento,
Sacktown,
Oakland.
Idaho could also be Sacktown.
Pivotal Game 3.
Sack of potatoes.
Pivotal Game 3. So we talked some Royals today. We've talked a good portion of Chiefs as well. There's some free agent fits out there, one of those being Cam Jordan to the Chiefs. We also discussed if we even think they would be able to afford to go and get a free agent at this point.
I don't think they can afford not to.
I mean, can you afford to do it, though? You got to examine that. I mean, they got to clear up cap space right now to sign their rookie class right now. So they got some issues figuring out how to get cap compliant with their rookie players. 913-381-810. Let's play some sports or leisure. Here is how you play. As Sterling said, you get a sports question, you get a leisure question. You got to get them both right to win. If you lose, the question is out there available for someone to call in and request. If you get it wrong, we give out the right answer when it has been answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. And we are playing for $25 at Johnny's Tavern, premier sports bar in the Kansas City area, 10 locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. Johnny's Tavern, some great stuff there that you can get at Johnny's Tavern. Love the pizza pies that they have, the Espinachos, the Wilson wings, great stuff at Johnny's Tavern, and a great place to go and watch the game and just hang out with some friends, or Sterling would call them the boys.
Yeah, it's a
or
great
the
spot.
girls. You can
Both,
take the girls or the boys,
And
Either
girls
one
just
of them.
want to have fun.
family.
Girls just want to have fun.
They do just want to have fun.
Learned that.
Yes, and it's a Thursday, so that means we're close to the weekend, and I heard that everybody's working for the weekend. Are any of those songs going to be in the leisure category today?
No, but they were close.
Ah, damn it. Let's give out the sports side. This is going to be draft specific. There is one general NFL draft question that I have and came up with last night because I was focusing so much more on Chiefs. We have general Chiefs draft, and then we have mid-round stars, Chiefs mid-round stars, selections that were essentially not first-rounders that became stars for the Kansas City Chiefs, or really good players. Most of them stars, but also some guys that were like, wow, you got him there, and he became that good of a player. So we'll talk about, or we'll have those questions in that category. What about on the leisure side?
General Chief.
That's right.
Glad to meet you.
General Chiefs.
Potpourri. We'll do riddles, and then we'll do a new one.
Do a new one.
This is a new one. Potpourri, riddles, and Got My Country On. Like 90s to What?
I love the name of it. And by the way, if you choose that category, you have to say it like that. Got my country on.
Got my country on. We're doing. We're like 90s to like early 2000s country music.
So there's going to be a lot of drinking. There's going to be a lot of your truck.
A lot of trucks.
There's going to be dogs being killed.
A lot of them.
It's going to be getting divorced. Your wife ran out on you.
All of them.
It's going to be having to you go to the bottle to self-medicate.
These are all going to be themes in this, but we're not doing like hey, that bro country. Get on out of here, that bro country.
No, he's Randy Travis in this damn thing.
Yeah, we're doing this thing. Okay, so 90s to 2000s country. I need a bush light in my hand to do this. I'll tell you what, brother.
Go
but got my country on.
Go get you one. Go get you one. There's some back in the fridge, right?
I got some beers in the fridge.
There you go. Go get you one. Go get yourself a bush. Go get you some bush. 913-381-0810. I'm ready to play. Sterling, you good?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
Why wouldn't you go get her done? You ready to play? Get her done.
Hell yeah.
Let's get her done, man. Let's get her done. Go on, get.
What I do about $1 million, Jason?
I don't know, but what you should do is if somebody asks for "get your country on" and they lose, you'd be like, "Oh, it's not right. Go and get out of here. Yeah, that's right. Go and get."
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
To the phone lines we go, and let's bring it. By the way, the anniversary was Sunday of that.
Yeah, it was.
Which I know we're going to go to the phone lines here and play Sports Leisure, but I just wanted to throw a real quick aside and sidebar because I meant to bring this up earlier this week, and it just reminded me of that because you said the analytics and the righty-lefty stuff, which goes along with the when Cags hit the home run. It's like, oh, the analytics crowd's going crazy, and it's like, well, that's not really analytics. That's been going on forever. That rant was because he was asked, bases loaded in the 7th inning, Miller is batting against a righty. George Brett didn't start. He's on deck. Did you think of batting?
Would you like it?
Maybe. But did you think of batting Brett for Miller in the 7th with bases loaded? You know why? Because it was righty-lefty.
Yep.
That was in 1993, so we got to stop acting like, sure. You know what? It was the anniversary, so might as well. Then we'll get to play some Sports or Leisure because we can all enjoy this.
Did you consider Brett for Miller with the bases loaded in the
Should have.
No, don't ask me all these stupid ass questions.
He should have.
No. And the God, all these stupid ass questions every night.
Always trying to manipulate the bleepuation. I ain't taking no bleep from you. I ain't taking no bleep from the players. Monty talked about that yesterday and was like, it was so surreal. He's like, it's one of those things where you know where you were when you, it is like, it was 93 and still remember all of that went on. But bases loaded, Miller's up, there's a righty on the mound, and George Brett didn't start, so he's available to come in and pinch hit. Did you consider Brett for Miller with bases loaded in the 7th, the righty-lefty matchup? It's a perfectly reasonable question. Righty-lefty, analytics. What if he would have been asked, Skip, did you consider the analytics of what did the analytics say of whether you should have gone to Brett for Miller in the 7th with bases loaded? He did end up pinch hitting Brett in the 9th inning for Jose Lind, and Brett came through with a hit and ended up making it close. It was 5. They were down 5-1.
Yeah,
and Brett's single or double, one of those two, drove in a run. Somebody else scored, so it was 5-3 with 2 men on in the 9th inning. They didn't tie it up, but it's a fine question. All right, we'll see if these are fine questions. Jerry leads us off here, Sports or Leisure on a Thursday edition. Jerry, what side would you like to start with, sir?
I'll try sports, and if I understood it right, the mid-round Chiefs.
Yeah. Let's do this one. Let's see, and as I said, mid-round, but it's really just non-first rounders. I should probably call it that one, non-first round stars. But this guy was drafted in the 3rd round. He never won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs, but he won the Outland Trophy in college playing in the Big 8 and is now wearing a gold jacket.
Third round.
Mm-hmm.
Outland Trophy, is that offensive or defensive?
That is the best offensive line. Could be the best lineman, but this guy would be off. I think it's offensive line, just specific. But yeah, best offensive line. Could be interior offensive line even.
Could be.
Yeah, because that would also fit with this guy too. Playing in the Big 8.
Could be.
I'm thinking Will Shields.
Will Shields is correct. Yes. If I said Nebraska, I thought that would give it away. It would be too easy.
Yeah, good call.
Will Shields, third round Hall of Famer. Over to Leisure.
Got my country on. Riddles or potpourri?
Yeah, I can't take that country category. I'll try this potpourri.
Oh, man.
All
Bummer.
Well, then go and get.
What is the capital of Iowa?
That's it. That's the question.
It's kind of country.
Okay, it's that. But this is potpourri though.
Sioux City or Des Moines? I think it's Des Moines.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It is Des Moines. Yeah,
Des
correct.
Moines.
Yeah.
Well, it's Des Moines.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Des Moines. We were looking for Des Moines. Sorry about that. That's a winner, Jerry. We'll put you on hold. Get your information. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810. My son had his state capitals test yesterday.
Good for him.
So we've been studying for the last few weeks.
Those are fun.
It is fun. You know, it helps me refresh.
Mount Pelier.
Mount Pelier. Yes, that would be Vermont. Or is that New Hampshire? Doesn't matter. But we're trying to give them different things to help remember. And what we came up with was, do you know the capital of New Jersey?
That one is, it's Trenton.
Good job. Trent McDuffie, Trenton, is wearing a new jersey.
Good for you.
Nailed it. And so he couldn't remember Trenton and New Jersey until we got to the end, and I'm like, New Jersey, Trent McDuffie, New Jersey. Like, there you go.
Boom.
You did it. He kept getting North Dakota and South Dakota mixed up with Bismarck and Pierre.
Yeah.
So I said, what I always did with North Dakota and South Dakota, if I got them
above P.
I put the alphabet in my mind from top to bottom, and B is above P, so Bismarck above Pierre. And he did that, and he got it right as well. Also, by the way, finding out how many state capitals
There's 50.
the state. Wow,
Yeah,
I did find out that.
shocking.
No, but the state colleges there. Like how many of the state capitals? That's where South Carolina and Ohio State and
Austin.
Michigan State and Austin, Texas with UT. On and on and on.
Jefferson
and on.
City Tigers.
Way, not that one, but Florida State. Way more LSU.
Yeah.
On and on and on and on and on. I know Vandy isn't like, the best example, but, whatever. All right, to the phone lines we go. We bring in Cajun to Sports or Leisure.
Hello.
Cajun, what side do you want to start with, brother?
You're asking me all these damn stupid-ass questions.
Oh, Scoop. Sorry, Scoop. Scoop. Sorry, Scoop.
That's the only thing I felt bad about was the poor guy that drew blood.
Yeah, hit him with an ashtray, I think is what he...
Yeah, like he didn't go all Rambo on his ass.
Yeah, through a phone, through the tape recorders, through an ashtray, hit Scoop. Oh, Scoop. Sorry, Scoop. Although, but maybe the best part about that after Cajun is that he does hit Scoop while throwing that, and it draws blood, and you see Scoop's face bleeding. But it didn't stop Hal McRae from continuing his rant, because then he followed him outside of the hallway and still yelling at the media members. You would have think Scoop, sorry, Scoop, would have ended it. Nope, did not. Good for you, Hal.
He was seeing red, so the blood blended in.
There you go. That's exactly right. What side do you want to start with, Cajun?
Let's do Leisure.
All right, potpourri, got my country on, and riddles.
Oh, man, just to make Sterling happy. Got my country on.
Next week, don't worry, Cajun. He's going to drop a category called Get Your Cajun On.
Get your Cajun on. Ladies love country, boys. Also, honky tonk, badonkadonk.
Oh, are these
That's
songs?
the same. That's the same. Yeah, songs. That's who sings those. Yeah.
I've heard it.
Badonkadonk.
The only possible guess I got is that, who's that guy that was so big all the time? Oh, man. Used to sell out arenas and shit, right? The big time superstar, is that who I'm thinking of?
Cajun.
I don't know, Cajun. You just dropped an S-bomb.
We had to press the dump button.
We had to dump Cajun for the first time. Wow.
Sorry, man. I'm exhausted.
No.
I've been working outside and draining my dealing with flooded basements.
Oh,
and
dude, I'm
stuff
sorry
and
about
my
it. You know what?
dog.
You're given a reprieve if you've been dealing with the
I'm
flooded
sorry.
basement,
I
man.
apologize.
Oh, man.
Y'all caught it, I hope. I apologize.
I
to
apologize.
anybody that heard it.
No, I
All
apologize.
right.
You having to deal with the flooded basements and stuff. You can drop an S-bomb
Well,
from time to time.
St.
if you
John
deal
can
with it.
relate. I've heard his woes
I
as
know,
well.
man. It sucks. I do not. I feel
Only
bad
like
for
the
people.
fourth time in the last 10 years. Global warming ain't real.
Is that your final answer?
Shockingly, that was not the artist.
I'm trying to think. It's oh man, I know the guy. I think I know the guy. Did he marry the girl, the woman that makes the food?
I don't think
That
no.
one.
I don't think that's the right one.
Oh man, you don't know the woman that is a country superstar that married
Yes.
this woman that was on TV cooking.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's
Trisha
not.
Yearwood?
Yeah, it's not Garth Brooks.
No, it's not Garth
It's
Brooks.
It's not Garth Brooks.
That's who I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
but it's
No?
not Garth.
Okay, I got it wrong. All right, guys, enjoy it. Have a good one.
Cajun, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother. We'll do a get your Cajun on next week.
Yeah.
There. That sucks, man. I feel. Honestly, it happened like I remember like once when I was young that it happened to our basement. Oddly enough, all of my baby stuff was quote lost in the flood, but everybody else's was fine, and they still have that. We had 4 kids, 3 kids have all of their stuff from the babies and baby books and all the memorabilia.
What are you going to do with it, though? What are you going to look at it?
No, it's
You
just
forget your colors?
It's just going to be a reminder of who the mistake was and who they cared about keeping track of things. And then
Yeah,
the
who
4th kid.
cares? They
No,
can throw that
no,
away.
but don't worry, it was lost in the flood.
Yeah,
I'm using
fine.
air quotes here.
And
but what are
now
you gonna-
Jason has a chip on his shoulder.
Exactly
What are
right.
you going to do? You're going to look back, you forget your colors?
But I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know what I mean? Literally is what I do. It's just it's a running joke in the family that they think is a joke. But I remember that, and it was awful. And so I feel terrible for people that have to deal with that, especially with all this rain that's coming down, man. Let's go to Avery next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Avery, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
I feel like that was Toby Keith, but I don't know country music, so I'll start with Mid-Round Stars.
All right, mid-round stars for you. You know what? Because it's you, we're going to go with maybe not necessarily, but you know what? Because it's you, this is what we're going to go with. Drafted in the 3rd round, he played 5 years for the Chiefs, including as a rookie, a dramatic play in overtime on Monday Night Football to help win the game. This is my favorite ending to this question, any question. Avery, football drama wasn't the only thing that he trafficked in.
Oh, you're talking about Tamarick Vanover?
Oh, I am talking about Tamarick Vanover. Thank you. A curtsy. Yes. You're welcome.
I always like that one.
All right, over to Sterling with some leisure.
Got my country on.
He trafficked drugs, Michael.
Yeah. Potpourri and riddles.
Riddle me this, bad man.
Awesome. Love it.
There's your riddle.
Who makes it has no need of it. Who buys it has no use for it. Who uses it can neither see nor feel it. What is it?
What?
Who makes it has no need of it yet. Who buys it has no use for it yet. Who uses it can neither see nor feel it. What is it?
Is it like a grave?
I'll count it. A coffin.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
It's a coffin. It's a coffin. Yeah.
I like it. That's pretty good.
That's
Avery,
pretty good.
I think I would have had to sit here for a while.
I had to add the yet, because if I didn't say yet, I think it would made it way more difficult.
I thought you were just saying, like, who makes it, doesn't use it, yet this guy doesn't do it, yet this guy doesn't see it.
Yeah, you don't use it, and
as
eventually
opposed
you'll
to
probably use it.
Yet.
Yeah.
So I took
a
it as
coffin. It was a coffin. Yeah.
Okay. All right, there we
Kind
go.
of dark on this Thursday.
Very good. There we go. That's a winner. So, Avery, you are moving on to the next round to talk to Michael. Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Yes. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. And now he's got to answer questions from Michael to see if he can win. So you've advanced to the 3rd round. What if
His answer is what's your name and what's your number?
Sports or leisure or Michael? Sports or leisure and Michael.
Yeah.
You get them both right, then you got to answer the questions from Michael, and all that is just getting your phone number.
Yeah.
That's the question.
As long as you know your phone number and your name,
should
you're
know
good.
the answer to that one.
Yeah.
Let's go to John next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. John, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Well, let me clean up that country question if I could.
Oh, yes, sir. What you got
yeah,
now?
he's getting
Ladies,
country on.
ladies love country boys and honky tonk, but donka donk.
That would be Trace Adkins.
That is Trace. He's got a very deep voice. I heard him actually talking on the radio the other day, and I'm like, somehow his voice is deeper than even when he sings. Because ladies love country boys. That's down there.
Yeah.
That register's down there, brother.
Yeah,
and
that's quite the assumption for him.
Yeah.
I mean, some do, but not like every one of them.
Well, you
could be some ladies love country boys.
Yeah, your mama wants you to date a doctor or lawyer, but they see that camo and whoo-wee.
They can't see them if they're wearing camo. That's the whole point. You just blend in with all the other
Great
guys
song.
that are there.
It's a great song. Good job, by the way, John. Proud of you.
I bet it is. And it is also a reminder of 2 years' worth of Brian Haney missing the opportunity of saying, "Oh, Flory with the KU badungadunk." This whole time. This whole time. This whole time. Now, they got to do it over at Louisville. Flory gave them, KU's got a badungadunk.
Sports side, what side do you want?
Expensive dunks.
That's a honky-tonk Flory badungadunk. How is that not right there for the taking, Brian Haney? I am giving you gold here, sir. All right, onto the sports side. What category are you thinking, John? Chiefs draft in general. A couple of mid-round stars remaining, and then we have one just generic NFL draft question.
We'll do the Chiefs mid-round stars.
All right, Chiefs mid-round stars for you. He was taken in the second round by the Chiefs, played over a decade, anchoring one of the most successful runs in Chiefs history. He ultimately was inducted into the Chiefs Ring of Honor while honoring the station with his voice.
Second round. Well, that would be Grunny, right? Tim Grunhard?
That would be Tim Grunhard, Tim Grunny. As I said, I labeled it mid-round stars, but then I'm like, if I include Tim Grunhard, then that's just got to be non-first-round stars. So that's what I'm going to call this for the last question in the category as non-first-round stars. So Grunny! Tim Grunhard, also known as Grunny. That is the right answer, and that is another winner. John, we'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Hey, by the way, the Oakland A's, I referred to them as Vegsack. So take that, Vegsack.
Take that, Sterling. Take that, vague sack. In your face. Thank you, John, for winning and giving us
And
that.
now take your badonkadonk to Johnny's Tavern.
Yes, that's right. You can have some honky-tonk. Badonkadonk. Oh. The hoop and the harm and rocking and showing out his badungadunk. Let's come back with a little more sports or leisure on the other side of the break. More Zone next. Hanging out on this Thursday edition of The Zone. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, heading up until 2 o'clock. Program comes your way after we are done. I believe at Family Leisure today.
I'm talking about leisure, baby.
That's right. We're talking sports or leisure. They're talking family leisure. And then tonight at 6 o'clock, the Crossroads Soccer Show with Matt Beasler and Nate Bucati. By the way, is the intro to that song Bone Thugs and Harmony Crossroads? Because if it's not, what are you doing? Matt, Nate, what are you doing if that the intro is it meet you at the crossroads?
It could be Crossroads by John Mayer.
Nope.
Crossroads by was it Robert Johnson or Eric Clapton?
Maybe
one Crossroads.
Maybe one of them has an Uncle Charles that they miss.
Uncle Charlie Wilson.
Nope. 913-381-810. Let's go to the phone lines, playing some sports or leisure. Actually, let's reset the categories again. We have one question left in the non-first round stars. We have general Chiefs draft questions, and we have just one more generic NFL draft. What about on the leisure side, Sterling?
We have potpourri, we have riddles, and we have got my country on.
All right, there you go. 913-381-810, $25 at Johnny's Tavern. We are playing for, and our next player is Matt. Next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Matt, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's go sports, not first round draft.
All right, here we go. All right, adopted as an infant by a Japanese-American family, he was adopted by Chiefs fans when the team drafted him in the 5th round out of California. Unfortunately, he'd be traded 3 years later, but would play 11 years in the NFL.
Scott Fujita?
That's correct. Well done, Scott Fujita. Nice job.
That would have taken me a while. Good job.
That rounds out the first-round stars for the Chiefs category. What about on the leisure side? Sterling.
Let's try potpourri, please.
What do the stripes on the American flag represent?
How many stripes are there?
Oh, that's the original 13 colonies?
Correct, yes.
Nice
Nails,
job.
good job.
Yep.
People remember the 13 stars, but I feel like people don't always remember the 13 stripes, what it represents.
I said, how many stripes were there?
76.
There was 13. What are the odds?
Good job. See? Got my country on, and we're talking about our country. Look at that.
Yep, American flag. There you go. Nice job, Matt. We'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. How about that? That was quick. Easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Scott Vegeta and the 13 original colonies.
That would have taken me a while, I think.
Yeah, Scott Vegeta went to California, not one of the 13 original colonies.
No.
A lot of people forget that. A lot of people get that wrong. They get that wrong, thinking that they were one of the 13. They weren't. 913-381-810. Jerry next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jerry, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's go with leisure.
All right, we got potpourri, we have riddles, and we have got my country on.
Let's do country, so let's try that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with Chattahoochee. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
It gets hotter than a
hoochie.
Can you? I think you say that. Yeah, it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. Yeah, because that just means like a hot pocket.
Yeah, it could be.
You know what I mean?
It's hot.
And hot pockets are hot.
Alan Jackson.
That is Alan Jackson.
Nice job.
Good job.
Nice job. Easy peasy
Little
for
man,
Jerry.
I love that song, too.
All right, over to the sports side. The categories we have left are general Chiefs draft, and we have one more generic NFL draft that isn't, Chiefs specific.
Well, I love the Chiefs draft. Let's try that one.
All right, let's go with this one. All right, so the Chiefs have traded their first-round pick for a player from another team 4 different times. We asked this question 2 weeks ago, but I didn't give out the right answers because I said I wanted to carry it over to when we played Sports or Leisure again. So we are now bringing it back. So the Chiefs have traded their first-round pick for a player from another team 4 different times. Who are the players? So this would be like the Colts traded their first-rounder for Sauce Gardner. The Chiefs have done that 4 different times. And Alex Smith isn't one of them.
You're asking for all 4?
Let's see what we got. Let's see how many we can get. I think we can get all 4. I got faith.
I don't think so.
Well, Alex Smith was guessed the last time, so I'm going to go ahead and put that out there that Alex Smith was incorrect because that was a second rounder.
Was Joe Montana one of them?
Joe Montana was actually the first one. So there you go. So they've all been since Joe Montana. So you got the first one out of the way.
Oh, boy.
Tell you, we got a defensive player, an offensive player, and then a quarterback.
Oh, quarterback. Let's see.
Got 3 of them that have all happened since Joe Montana.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll take a guess. I'm not sure if this is after Joe Montana or before. I'll say Marcus Allen.
You know what? They did not trade for Marcus Allen. Not a bad guess because it came in all around the same time, but he came in as a free agent. Jerry, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. And don't be a stranger, buddy. 913-381-810. Let's go to Reed's Nuggies has been holding for a long time. Reed's Nuggies, what's up, brother? Good to hear from you. What side you thinking to start with today?
Well, I might need a little bit more time to actually think about that first rounder thing because I know about Montana, I know about Frank Clark, and I know about Orlando Brown Jr.
So there you go. Then you would have one more left, and all it would be the quarterback that we said, and it's not Alex Smith.
Quarterback that was traded for first round pick after Joe Montana.
Yep.
Just going through my Rolodex.
Yeah, but you know what?
Green.
There you go. It was Trent Green.
Trent Green.
Nice job. Trent Green is correct. So
I'm going to use that question. Do
you want that one or another one?
I think I'll be good. I'll stick with that one.
So 4 first-round picks for specific players: Joe Montana, Trent Green, Frank Clark, Orlando Brown. Well, I guess there's 6 now. Good God, because it's
Bengals legend.
It's 5 because of McDuffie and Tyreek.
Yeah,
it's so funny because I sat there and went through all of them and didn't even include the 2 most recent. There are 6 of them. Name all 6. I should probably then amend this question. If you didn't get it right, I would have amended it. There's 6 of them.
There's always next week.
Mr. Nuggies, potpourri.
I'm just going through my mind, Sterling, as to how I go back through all the years and I skip over one this year and then 2022, one of the other ones. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. I'm gonna bow out as you got them all right.
Mr. Nuggies, potpourri, riddles, got my country on.
So stupid.
You know, one of these days you need to do like TV theme songs.
Oh, dude, I was thinking about that the other day.
We've done them before.
Dude, I was actually thinking about that the other day.
I've done those before.
Well, do them again.
Yeah, you need to bring that back. Anyway, I'm not the producer of this show.
Not yet.
So give me the country.
Not with that attitude.
All right. Let's go with "It's a Great Day to Be Alive." It's a great day to be alive.
Got rice cooking in the microwave. Yeah. Travis Tritt.
That is Travis Tritt.
3-day. Sterling's got a 3-day beard. He doesn't plan to shave right now.
I do. This is a 3-day beard.
I was going to say, you got that working.
That is a 3-day beard.
I've got about a 7-year beard I haven't planned to shave.
And you don't plan to shave it?
Beard.
No.
Good for you.
Mustache is a little longer than 3 days, though. I'll tell you that much.
That's
I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah, that's a 3-week.
The head's a different story, but anyway.
Yeah, that you're going to shave. It's all good. Hey, we'll put you on hold and get your information. You moved to round 3 to talk to Michael. Well done.
Okay,
there you go. You got to answer some questions for him before you officially win. So there you go. The Chiefs have traded. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. That's why I didn't come up with
because
they didn't trade for them.
They didn't trade them. That was Joe's. What they were.
I'm a double idiot now.
Yeah,
I was an idiot for questioning myself, and now I'm an idiot for questioning myself and then going back and saying there were 6 when there were only 4 because they didn't trade a first rounder for those players. They got a first rounder for those players. Jackass. God, Sterling, why are you so dumb?
Your words.
I never know what he's doing. Let's go to Dylan next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Dylan, sports or leisure? And we'll see if I can get my own questions right.
I'll do 90s country leisure.
There you go.
90s
You're gonna
country
get you're gonna get. You know what? No, Dylan, you're getting your country on.
All right. Dust on the bottle might be Little dust on the bottom.
David Lee Murphy.
That is David Lee Murphy. I don't know any other songs by David Lee Murphy, I don't think, but that song is phenomenal, and the album cover is quintessential 90s country. It's great.
Nice. Is it like a
it's like him in a tank
funeral
top.
for a dog while drinking a beer with your truck that's disabled or broke down, and then you're signing divorce papers?
Could be.
All right. Over to the sports side, Dylan, we have just a general Chiefs draft and one left in the oh my God, that is one hell of an album cover.
Yeah, I told you.
That is brilliant. And then we have one generic NFL draft.
I'll do Chiefs draft.
All right, very good. Okay. Let's go with this one. Mansour Delane, the Chiefs selection in the first round. He became the 6th player from LSU that the Chiefs have taken in the first round. He is the 3rd on the defensive side. Can you tell me the 2 other LSU defensive players the Chiefs drafted in the first round?
Defensive?
Yes. 2 other defensive players the Chiefs have drafted in the first round. There are now 6 LSU
Tyson
players.
Jackson and Glenn Dorsey.
Nice job. Back-to-back years even. Glenn Dorsey and Tyson Jackson. Nice job. I didn't know that Tyson Jackson would be one I thought that was the more difficult one. But Glenn Dorsey and Tyson Jackson. Nice job. That's another winner. I mean, we are just handing out winners today.
We love winners.
That's exactly right. We're handing out winners like the Royals offense hands out outs to the other team. Yeah. Just gives them on the base paths. Just all day. Dylan, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Look at that. Another winner, man. Michael's like, hey, dude. Michael's now actually having to write $25 checks.
Yeah, it's
to
true.
The winners. Michael's like, we're out of gift cards, so they're just going to have to take $25 out of your check.
It's an IOU.
A firm handshake.
You get either $25 to Johnny's Tavern or a firm handshake from Michael. Your choice. And it's the choice of a new generation. That's what it is. Let's go to Shane next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Shane, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Pepsi, Jason. Oh, that's what you're
That's exactly what.
I want to do sports, please.
Yes. Do you want that last one that's just a generic NFL draft, or would you like some Chiefs?
I actually do. I want to close out that category.
Thank you. All right, so Fernando Mendoza went first overall this year. You're going to get this one. Who was the last number 1 overall pick that did not play quarterback or edge?
Last number 1 pick. He would be a Chief probably. Am I on the right track?
You are not only on the right track, you're on the right train.
Okay, Eric Fisher?
Eric Fisher is correct. Eric Fisher, 2013, the last time
Crazy.
a non-quarterback or edge rusher has gone number 1 overall.
That's pretty nuts, man.
That category is done. Over to leisure with Sterling.
Riddles, potpourri, or got my country on?
I want to get my country on.
All right. Let's go with redneck woman, because I'm a redneck.
I just saw a video of her pop up on social the other day, and she was in some bar, and she jumped up on stage and went crazy. That was Gretchen Wilson.
That was 100% Gretchen Wilson.
Nice job. I mean, this is like 10 winners today or something like that. I don't know. It's
getting
been
their
crazy.
country on.
We've only had a couple people that didn't, and I feel bad for them. But Shane, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, fellas. Yeehaw.
There we go. Love it.
Yee, and I cannot stress this enough. Ha.
We are sending a small village to Johnny's Tavern right now with these
What if
clearly.
they all went
not
together?
small. It's just a village.
Well, that's what it takes to raise a child. So
What if
everybody's going to Johnny's Tavern to help raise a child.
It'd be awesome if every winner went at the same time together. It's like an 8-10 Johnny's
Winners meetup. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be electric. I'm in.
Yep. Let's see if we can get a couple more going there. Charlie next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Charlie, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Leisure, please.
All right.
Put an end to this winning madness.
What do you want?
That's the spirit, Charlie.
Potpourri, please.
Potpourri. This is fairly easy. I don't have many potpourris left. The Statue of Liberty was a gift to the United States from what country?
The painting was a gift, Todd. It's going with me.
False.
Yes.
France, France,
Yes.
France?
Yeah, you got it right. France.
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 En français.
Yes.
I speak French.
It was actually from Todd. The painting was a gift, Todd.
Then what does, if you speak French, what does voulez-vous coucher avec moi mean?
It means don't take offensive lineman first pick overall.
That's crazy that they sang about that one too. You know.
Yeah, they were singing back then.
Yeah.
Even don't take an offensive line with me.
Just like
pick
bala
one.
bala bala bamba is you should not trade up for the 6th overall pick if you have more needs on your team this year. That's the exact translation.
Thank you.
So it's crazy.
Did I win?
Close. You got to get a sports one right
My
though.
book, you did.
All we have left is Chiefs draft questions. So I'm assuming that's the category you want.
How about Royals in Cooperstown?
Dang it, don't have that one.
Okay. Chiefs draft pick.
Maybe we'll get Royals in Cooperstown coming up next week. We'll see. Chiefs draft picks. All right. So, you know what? Let's we get maybe multiple times with this, guys. Who was the last offensive player the Chiefs drafted from Nebraska before they selected Emmett Johnson? The last offensive player from Nebraska before Emmett Johnson.
Brooke Behringer?
No, the last offensive player from Nebraska. I didn't realize this was the last one that it went by that.
That wasn't my guess. I was just
I know.
wondering.
Yeah, you were just throwing stuff out there.
Last offensive player.
Yeah. I can't believe it went back. Sterling, you know the answer to this one? Last offensive player drafted by the Chiefs from Nebraska before Emmett Johnson? I didn't think it went back this far. Also,
Will Shields.
Can you give me offense or defense?
It's offense.
Oh.
Was I right? Was it Will Shields?
Shields.
Yeah, Charlie, it's Will Shields. Well done, Charlie.
You told me
No, I just said, did you know? I didn't say answer it for the contestant.
Oh, sorry. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome,
Yes.
Charlie.
Everybody's a winner.
I literally answered the question for him. Sorry.
Yes, you did literally answer the. We know that. We're aware.
Well, I'm sorry. He asked, and I was like, well, I know ball.
I asked, did you know the answer? I didn't say who is it.
Okay, Charlie, riddle me this. If someone asks you, do you know the answer, you're probably going to say the answer,
You're going to say yes or no.
I don't know.
I
That's
thought he was talking to me.
I knew the answer. I didn't say it.
Sorry, I'm a ball knower, dude. Sorry, Charlie. You know what? I like you, Charlie. It's because I like Charlie, and that's why.
You make it easy to be a ball buster. Let me just say that, okay?
Bust him, pal.
That's right. I believe that's a winner, right? Is that a winner? Is that a winner, right? Is that a winner?
I don't know if
Did he
No, he got France right.
He spoke
Paris
French.
right.
He spoke France.
He spoke
Yeah.
France.
Is what he did, and he translated for us what it meant. Charlie, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There you go. Sterling, you want to answer any other questions?
Dude, you wanted me to.
I wanted you to say yes or no. That was it.
Well, you should have specified.
Yes.
You should have said, hey, if you know it, don't say it. I was a dog without a bone, and then I saw the bone, and I'm going to bite the bone.
Okay, cool. Let's. You know what? With that, let's go to break. Let's just break and regroup here, and we'll see if we have, because we're late for break. We'll see if we have some time for another contestant or two. We'll see. More Zone next. I wrap things up here on this Thursday edition of the show. Handing it off to the program, Whistler and Pet Show. After we are done here, he is at Family Leisure. We've got some Chiefs press conferences, some rookies we'll be hearing from tomorrow as they get ready for rookie minicamp. We got a couple of contestants left, and I think that's all we will have time for. We only have Chiefs draft questions left, and what about on the leisure side?
All we have left are riddles and Got My Country On.
All right, let's go. Ronnie, next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Ronnie, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with?
That's Chiefs draft.
All right, very good.
Sports Radio 810
Let's go with the Chiefs have drafted 4 running backs in the first round since 1990. Can you tell me 3 of them?
Greg Hill.
Yep.
Clyde.
Nice.
You said 3 or 4?
Well, they've drafted 4, but all you got to tell me is 3.
Okay.
And the best of the bunch.
Larry Johnson, and just curious, was Harvey Williams one of them?
Nice job. Harvey Williams.
Nice.
Well done. Harvey, one of those 6 LSU draft picks in the first round of the Chiefs, certainly liked. Harvey, Hill, Johnson, and Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
Over
Mixed
to
bag.
Yes, that's right. Larry was good.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I'll just have to take whatever's easiest next and just move on with it quickly.
Do you like riddles or Got My Country On?
I guess riddles.
All right, riddles. What has 4 fingers and a thumb but is not living?
A glove. Is it a glove?
Yes.
Are we able to say a glove? I was going to say hamburger helper guy.
Yeah. Is it a glove, Sterling?
Hamburger helper guy's living in our hearts if you believe enough.
Sterling, is it a glove?
It's a glove.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
I didn't ask you.
I just thought we were answering each other's questions for the contestants now.
Did you read my lips?
No. I said it was.
Hamburger helper guy is technically a glove.
Yeah. Actually, what I was doing was I was in my mind
love
weighing the
hamburger
pros and
helper
cons
guy.
of answering the question.
You're a son of
I was
a
weighing
gun,
the
dude.
pros and cons of doing that.
You asked me.
Ronnie,
I did
well
not
done.
ask you.
Well done, Ronnie. Nice job, buddy. We'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations.
Makes up for the one I didn't pick up that was repoed and thrown back into the estate sale of Johnny's card.
There you go. That works.
It all
Love
works
that.
out.
It
Circle
does.
life. Thank
there
you
go. There you go. 913-381-810. Final contestant here. And Sterling, we agree. Neither one of us will answer the other's question.
You asked me.
I asked you, did you know the answer? Let's go to Tim next up on Sports Radio 810. Tim wrapping us up, coming up and batting last for us. We'll see if we can get a walk-off here. Tim, sports or leisure?
So we already got the Will Shields out of the way.
Yep. There.
Let's go with the only sports topic available.
Very good. All right, so the Chiefs have drafted 4 Hall of Famers in the first round in their draft history. I would say who are they, but give me 3 of them, of the 4. They're Hall of Famers.
Is one of them the aforementioned?
Well, in the first round.
I can't remember if he.
In the first round. That aforementioned was in the 3rd round.
Oh, I'm thinking of the lineman guy.
Yep. Nope.
So 4 first rounders, a Hall of Fame. Okay.
Yep.
Derek Thomas.
There you go. It's one of them.
And then we have to go way back too, maybe.
Yep. One of them is way back, and one of them since Derek Thomas.
Lenny
Drafted by the Chiefs.
is got to be right.
Nope.
Dawson?
Drafted by the Chiefs. Drafted and first
Oh, he
round.
wasn't even drafted.
And not in the first round. No.
Drafted in first. Okay, let's see. Let's see.
Quick.
Oh,
Give you one more wrong guess.
defense. Heck, Neil Smith.
You know what? Not bad, but incorrect. Tim, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. Answer to that one. Sterling, do you know the answers to that one? The 3 other Hall of Famers that they drafted in the first round? That would be Tony Gonzalez.
Yep.
Buck Buchanan. And Gale Sayers.
I would not have gotten Gale Sayers.
Well, they drafted him. So there you go.
No, I wouldn't have got it. I'm just letting you know I'm an honest man.
I wish I'd have asked you that one. Who's the NFL Hall of Famer they drafted in the first round that they didn't sign? So there you go. All right, that'll do it for a Thursday edition. The program coming up next, the Crossroads Soccer Show with Matt Beasler and Nate Bucati tonight at 6 o'clock right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to take a 20-hour break. You good with that, Sterling?
Truck, yeah.